make sure everybody. Okay, there we go. Everybody. All right. Sorry about this. We're trying out a new system and everything. We're going to be doing the movie podcast and everything, so we'll be doing like a little bit of a riff tracks thing.
Hello.
Right.
Hello.
All right. Everybody's here. Kimmy's kind of got a bit of a tight schedule and everything, so we're going to just jump into this. Right about now, we're going to be syncing up with the start of the movie at 0000 across the board. And as soon as I say go, you're going to start pressing play on your actual device or however you're watching this and stuff. So, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so all three of us basically have these things going on. I'm using Audacity in terms of recording, and we are just getting the nice visual of the Warner Brothers picture.
That classic,
image.
iconic music.
Oh, yeah. That's some classic shit right here. The Hedwig theme, basically, right off the bat. Oh, man. I am kind of bummed they didn't get to keep the John Williams to continue doing the actual score.
After the third movie.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
No,
I never realized that.
No, the Hedwig theme continued on throughout the course of the entire series. So
I guess maybe that's why I never realized.
it's like one of the most memorable songs from the entire thing. Hey, there's our kitty cat.
McGonagall.
See, I remember the first time I watched this, being confused and having my parents pause it, because I'm like, I thought we weren't allowed to watch this, and my parents were like, oh yeah, we decided to watch it.
Oh,
It was a surprise. It's like, that would have been nice to have a warning.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. And there is the original actor for Albus Dumbledore, who sadly passed away after the second movie. Personally speaking, as much as I love his replacement, I'm horrible with actors' names. I really do feel he looks much more the part of Albus Dumbledore than his replacement. Don't get me wrong, his replacement has his moments and everything. But when I go through the book and everything, this is the man that I see.
Yeah, I think they did great casting for both, but OG Dumbledore is the best.
Oh man, there she is.
McGonagall's just the best, though.
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris was...
This is Richard Harris,
Okay.
and then I'm looking it up, and then when he passed away, Michael Gambon took over.
Hey, fair enough. The whole... man.
There's that motorcycle. Coming in like a crashing plane.
It's actually kind of cool to see some of the visuals for this. Considering this was made, what, in 2001, 2002?
Sounds about right.
Something like that.
Another, like, it's really depressing to realize that only, fucking hell, her name's on the tip of my tongue.
McGonagall?
Yeah.
Minerva?
Yeah, her name, the actress's name.
Maggie Smith.
Yeah, I feel bad. Maggie Smith is sadly the only actor that's in the scene outside of the baby, hopefully, that is still with us at this point in time. And she's getting up there in age. That's gonna be a rough day when she ends up passing on.
Listen, 7 stunning spells couldn't take her down.
Fair.
Wasn't it 6?
Something.
We'll get back.
It was a lot of stunning spells.
That is one of the scenes that I am severely disappointed they took out in the actual movie. Oh man.
Then let McGonagall raise him. Like, he's like, oh, he's better being raised away from all the fame and everything. Is like,
so give McGonagall a vacation for once in her life.
Give her a baby, it'll be fine. Or give her... Hagrid could raise him.
That would be it. Those would both be interesting what-ifs.
Definitely. The impact of them as, like, parental figures and everything.
I'm going to write those down for us.
I would love to have, like, if we want to do it before we end up jumping
letter.
into book 2, but having, like, you know, alongside, like, the actual chapter, we're going to be doing, I think I'm going to probably upload it first, because today is probably the best day we're going to have to actually do the movie. But we're planning on doing a chapter art thing as well. But if we want to also throw in a couple of what-if scenarios and stuff. Hey, it's Daniel Radcliffe.
He's so small.
He really is. Oh, I think... Is she still with us? The actress who plays...
Julia?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Why do I feel like I'm going to be looking up
I know
the cast and everything
Vernon
for us?
passed away.
Yeah.
Vernon passed away.
Ironically enough, the movies do soften them quite a bit.
Wait.
Looks like
Wake up, Potter. We're going to the zoo.
I'm kind of, like, yeah, they got rid of quite a few extra characters in this. Obviously, the rat-faced boy who only shows up in this chapter for going to the zoo is not mentioned. Pierce? I think it was Pierce.
Yeah, but he shows up in book 5.
I think briefly, but I don't think
Yeah.
he gets any speaking lines or anything. Whereas in the book, he actually has quite a bit of dialogue.
Yeah,
And
because
if-
he's the one who rats Harry out.
Yeah.
And said he was talking to
The snake.
the snake. Oh yeah, rat-faced boy. Harry dropping the bacon. Or ham? It looks like ham, not bacon, honestly.
Canadian bacon.
It's one of those things
It's
where
ham!
I know.
36.
Counted them myself.
Unfortunately, I think our audio is a little off.
I was realizing that. It's only like a second.
Yeah, that's all right though. If somebody's watching this and lining this up and everything, we're still pretty spot on, and we're not necessarily commenting about every single little moment throughout.
No,
the
I can't tell
course
if we're behind or ahead.
We're a second
ahead.
behind.
Behind.
Oh, I'm second behind.
Oh wait, no, we are behind. I lied.
Wouldn't surprise me if that one, because I'm the one who
we're-
pressed go on the controller and everything. Everybody else was probably like a second behind. So
That's true.
That's fine. It's so weird though, because
This poor snake.
Not Nagini.
Nope. And it's a he too, so it really
I
can't.
love how Harry rolls his eyes at them, like, come on. Harassing a snake at the zoo.
Yeah, it's such a Karen move, to be perfectly honest.
Also, you're not supposed to tap on the glass. There's so many signs in the
So
zoo
many
that says,
signs.
do not tap on glass.
The weird thing is they make the snake full on CGI, but they don't even do like the tail flip or anything along those lines from the original book, which would have been pretty amusing. It's like, if we can't afford decent CGI, at least have some fun trying to be as accurate as possible.
Right.
I really do feel like if Harry, with such a positive, this is like the only positive like display of snakes in Harry Potter as far as I'm concerned, outside of maybe Snape technically.
They also changed where the snake is from.
Really?
He says you're from Burma, but he was from Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he says, thanks, amigo.
Where is
Brazil,
Burma?
here I come.
One would think, though, if like Malfoy and Hagrid had kept their mouths shut a little bit, he might have ended up there because he would have had such a positive interaction with the snake at the beginning of the series. You know what I mean? Harry Potter, the boy who redeems the snake house.
Yeah.
I saw a post about, like, if Harry had, like, if all three of them had ended up in Slytherin, like, Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Oh, God. Ron's family would be up a tree. Everybody in that house, like, he would have ended up becoming, not Scorpius, but Albus from the book the play we don't talk about. Because he would have been the only member of the family who went into a different house, and his sister would have gone into the Gryffindor house afterwards and everything.
Right. Also, looking here, like, Vernon, like, coming after Harry, and Harry doesn't understand why, but Vernon knows why.
Well, to be fair, he does make comments about magic and stuff along. Like, there are signs that he knows what's going on.
Yeah. He's like, that's why Harry always got punished, is because they thought they could punish it out of him.
All right, this is one of the improved scenes that they actually did with the
yes.
owls.
All the owls.
I'm kind of glad they actually cut out all the driving around, because I gotta be honest,
That would have been boring.
it's okay in a book format and everything because of the nature of it. But God, could you imagine like multiple days, different like hotels and stuff along those lines, and just lots of driving?
It'd be
and
so
everything.
boring. And like, can you imagine being the director for that? You'd have to scout all these locations, and that would just be so
They'll
much.
probably
more
include it.
editing.
That's a huge letter. Look at how big that letter
That
is.
yeah.
Look at that stupid uniform.
Ironically enough, I think that's actually. Oh, it's got the S on it as well. Oh, and if you were paying attention to the background, you would actually see she's working on Harry's
uniform.
uniform in
I
the
think it's
background.
in one of the deleted scenes that they explicitly talk about it.
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
But I could be wrong. There's so much that I can't remember what's what.
I don't remember the houses in the book actually being attached to anything. Like,
That's a very classic London thing, though.
really?
Where all the houses are
Or an
connected.
England thing, yeah.
That
because...
is true, and they would have like attics that were connected. Actually, like you could get to the next attic if you needed. It's actually a theme in the well, not the first technically, but in
Chronological order for Narnia. Yeah, I always thought that was kind of
Magician's
weird.
Nephew.
Man, how many different owl trainers do you think they had to get in order to pull some of this stuff off?
A lot.
Just a few.
God, they must have used every single possible owl available. Hey, there's another one. Apparently, owls aren't actually that smart. It's a bit of a misconception. They are associated with wisdom, but they're not actually that smart of an animal.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, I do know that the egg scene was a deleted scene. I'm pretty sure that
was
was
with the
with
letters in the eggs.
letters in the eggs.
Mm,
I'm like 90% sure that one was actually recorded.
Sunday. Best.
Best day of the week. No roast on Sunday.
Probably the only time he ever congratulated Harry for being right.
Probably.
Oh my god, I love this line though. I've made comments about no post on Sunday just randomly around the house.
He does.
And
he thinks he's so
holy
clever.
Hey, look, is that Hedwig right there as an early bird cameo?
It's probably the same owl.
Wouldn't surprise me. This is so much more entertaining in this than the book. Because in the book and everything, they make it seem as though it's just getting more and more ridiculous where the letters are coming from and everything. Just flooding the house with them seems so much more seems like so much more like impact magical.
Also, Harry, come on, grab one from the floor.
Oh, got one in my hand. Run, son, run! You know, if he's really smart about it, you could probably hand him the fake letter and just grab another one because it looks like they're all over the house.
Well, it's not even like one's a fake. They're probably all the same copy.
Oh, no doubt.
And also, why did
drowning?
He tries to go into his bedroom. He should have just tried to leave the house.
Right.
I know in the books the door's all boarded up, and this isn't how it happened. But like, don't try and get in your bedroom. Leave the front door. Run down the street. He can't catch you. He's too fat.
Who in the world would actually set this up? This island has nothing on it, and yet somebody decided to put a freaking small building on it.
Somebody who just wanted to get away and go fishing.
God, it doesn't look like they've used this place in forever. Oh, this would drive me up a wall. Dirt floor? No way, thank you. No way.
I think it's a stone floor. There's just.
I was gonna say I don't think that's a dirt floor.
Dirt.
I think it's just that dirty.
Oh man, no.
Happy birthday, Harry.
And he's back. They make so much more of an intimidation factor on this one. I think he just knocks the door down with one solid hit, the first one, but man, he really knows how to announce himself. Also, the barrel twist thing. That's insane how strong he is, that he could one hand
He's
do
a
that.
giant!
Of course it hasn't happened yet. Hey, Mitch, do you think you could pause the Xbox so our audio lines up again real quick?
So pause for a second.
Pause and then let...
Shit.
Perfect!
No, that was actually
It was
perfection.
so perfect!
That was not a second, but okay.
But that was perfection, so great job.
Alright, fair enough.
It shouldn't make any difference to you guys listening.
But it was bothering us.
Okay, this bothers me a little bit. Seriously, dude, you should know better.
Yeah.
I mean, they skip out quite a bit on, like, the relationship and everything, where McGonagall's not really around to talk to Rubius about, like...
But he literally just says, well, of course you are. He obviously knows that wasn't Harry. He just wants to fuck with them.
it's hard to tell with some of the actors and stuff, like whether or not they're actually like taking it, like whether they're messing with somebody or not in terms of like act like in the role. You know what I mean?
It's too much makeup.
Oh man, they
Too much
do a really
beard.
good job of making him big. Because if I recall correctly, the actor's not really that big.
I think so. I think you're correct.
What?
Yeah, he was tall, but not like crazy tall.
Yeah, I'm not really like. Oh, what else was it that was?
You can see Dudley in the background eyeing the cake. He's scared, but he's like, cake?
Where's cake?
He's hungry. Like, well, to be fair, if they actually have the moment from like how, like if everything did happen like it kind of did off screen in the book and everything, he hasn't had a whole lot to eat. So yeah,
Right, that's the only thing I would say that it doesn't really imply why he would just automatically go for the cake.
they do cut out a lot of the interruptions though in the movie as opposed to the
No,
book.
but you could kind of infer based on the fact that he's like 37 last year. I had 38. You know, with that selfishness with the
He's very
presence
entitled.
that he's entitled. He's selfish. He feels he deserves everything. And if he thinks the cake looks good, he's like, well, that's gonna be my cake now.
Ironically
True.
enough, the fact that Dudley ate it probably suggests it's probably one of the better things he's made because Rubeus Hagrid's not a very good cook in the books.
Either that or Dudley was that hungry.
Well, I do remember them both actually having some of the cake over the like in the morning and everything as well. So Harry didn't complain too much about like the taste or the texture.
Harry was also malnourished right here. Give him a few months on Hogwarts food, and then he'll realize, oh crap.
Well, to be fair,
True.
Hagrid's food is like really hard to chew and stuff in most cases. So the fact that Harry even like didn't complain about it or say anything.
Also, yes, they did a great job on making Robbie Coltrane look a lot taller than he is because he's only 6'1".
I mean, that's
Only
taller
6'1".
than
Only
Okay.
6'1". I thought he was at least like 6'7" or something. No, he's very average height.
No, he's not. 6'1" is not average.
Okay, my dad's 6'1" and my brother's 6'2". So to me, I guess 6'1" is kind of an average height for a guy.
I am average height for a guy, but I'm considered short by women's standards. Just like how most men are a lot taller in the bedroom, so to speak, than they are in actual real life. Everybody's exaggerating heights. And you grab the bait.
And there goes the cake.
A lot of the adults do a lot of the heavy lifting in this movie.
Yeah. I love that little chuckle.
The little head
Hagrid's
bob
voice,
too
like,
and everything.
He's totally making fun of him.
Oh man.
Oh man, and Dudley just smirking over there as he ate the cake.
He probably thinks it's
Because he
hilarious.
thinks his parents are the magic tricks. But because his parents are now standing up to this guy, he's like, oh, I can do whatever I want again.
You can see his eyes the second before it flips over to him. Danny Radcliffe does have some decent chops when it comes to acting, even this early on. The look of sheer amount of amusement on his face, you like.
The crazy part is that like his parents didn't even really want him to be an actor.
Really?
Maggie Smith recommended him because they had worked on a play together.
Really?
Or they were in like a different movie.
Yeah.
But they didn't really want him to be a child actor, or like this was going to be a long commitment. But she recommended him. She was like, this kid, pick this kid.
It's kind of weird though that they don't actually touch on them spending the night there, because they spent the night here before heading off to London in the morning.
Yeah.
To be fair though, that would be an awkward moment. I'm sure Hagrid was just sort of like, you know what, let's just get out of here so I don't have to deal with these people any more than I already have to. Oh man, you can tell in his eyes and stuff. He's kind of amused about this whole thing. I didn't notice that before.
What?
As they get closer to the leaky cauldron, the actual image goes from like a blank spot to actually showing the logo of the actual pub.
Oh, okay.
So it like kind of like has like that magic in the background thing where rather than, putting it into words, they just show you in the background and everything. And if you pay attention, hey, there's Quirrell.
Yep, it's standing in the background.
Yeah, just off the corner, head down and everything with his hands together. They make a little bit more of a visual of it and everything. I think Tom changes actors quite a bit
Yeah.
I
because
think he does.
I thought the
'Cause-
Hunchback from like the third movie was someone completely different, but apparently that's actually
Yeah,
Tom.
no, they did Tom dirty.
They did.
That Tom's fine. I would have had no problems with him
Yeah.
continuing to play the character. I think they do show this place a little bit in book 3 and everything, but I don't think we ever see the Leaky Cauldron again in the movies.
I don't think so.
It's
Avoiding the handshake.
yeah. I figure they rather than trying to re-explain exactly the details and stuff, just have it so he's not keen on touching him just right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes things a little less confusing in terms of the timeline, but you know, I do kind of miss the fact that it's not really brought up.
I have to admit, I am so excited for my trip this winter to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It'll be so much fun.
This popcorn is horrible.
Oh, no one said you had to eat it.
It's
Yeah.
a marshmallow hot cocoa Smart Foods popcorn. For any
Yes.
of you wondering why he thinks the popcorn is bad.
And yes, I know we're recording this in the middle of July, but it's what we have.
You probably won't be listening to this until late August, but still.
It doesn't feel like a movie if I'm not eating popcorn. I do apologize for the munching.
I love the music in this movie so much.
Yes, and when you go to Wizarding World, this is the music you hear walking around.
Ah!
Yeah, when you actually approach the actual Diagon Alley part, you actually hear the brickwork moving as you get closer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already opened up when you actually go there. So you do see like a little bit of like a London street. So that way it really tries to portray the image as much as humanly possible. I wonder if a bat would have been an okay pet to bring to Hogwarts.
Wasn't on the approved list.
Yeah, neither was the rat.
Look. I don't know what to say there.
You could just say that I'm not wrong. I'm
You're
not
not
necessarily right, but I'm not wrong. I love how crooked everything is here.
Yeah.
The whole
And they
like
just accept it.
Hogwarts.
the diagonal alley in a sense.
Diagonally.
Yeah.
Well, nocturne is nocturnally.
Yeah, I love like the little word plays and stuff. Like, is it kind of lazy? Just a smidge, but
But it's also cool.
I like these little moments. This book and this movie were based on like the audience at its youngest and everything, and so like the fact that some of these things still continue on is actually kind of cool. I feel like a lot of the design work was a lot better in this movie than the future ones because a lot of the goblins don't look this menacing and this detailed, and like when they pop back up in later movies.
No.
I think it's because this was a lot more like. I think there's a lot more practical effects in this movie. A lot of the goblins were puppets, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like it with the hands for sure.
It does, like, that is kind of one of the things, though, is that I don't much care about the movies as a whole, is that as time goes on, they start looking more and more like our world and less like a magical world in a sense.
Yeah. And, like, obviously not all of them were puppets and stuff, but, like, I think a lot of it was, like, it's
It
just
was like puppeting or like latex covering
Yeah.
for the wrinkles.
like, honestly, it's kind of like, for wrong movie, but like, it's kind of like my disappointment with the Hobbit movies is that it was just going from Lord of the Rings with all the practical effects to the Hobbit movies, which were a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that gold.
Could you imagine if Harry's parents left him with nothing and he had obviously nothing from the Dursleys? Like, what would have happened?
I think there's special circumstance. Tom Riddle had money. There's a orphan's fund, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tom didn't have to necessarily worry about paying for all of his crap. Though, who knows what the magical world would have looked like if he wasn't allowed into Hogwarts, eh?
Right.
A lot better, that's for sure. Harry would have parents.
Very true. Hagrid would have been given a wand.
Yeah.
Lily might have ended up with Snape.
Maybe?
Because if Voldemort had never come to power, the Death Eaters wouldn't have been into play.
Oh, dude, that
and he
sign
wouldn't
just
have
had...
been hanging out with the Death Eaters.
That sign
He
had
was
Daily
still a
Prophet
jerk,
on it.
though, I think.
Did it?
Yeah! They
What
had the
about
Daily...
the sign?
The sign that we saw just between that transition before the Ollivander scene. If you look up to the left-hand side, you actually see Daily Prophet off one of the actual hanging things. One of the few jobs that actually gets mentioned in the wizarding world and stuff. We have ministry worker, we have wand maker or shopkeeper technically, and the Daily Prophet, which is our newspapers and stuff.
And healers at St. Mungo's.
Yeah, not there's only like a couple of very like wizard specific jobs basically.
That
where
they
it's like,
mention. I'm sure there are tons of other jobs.
well, you could be a shopkeeper in the real world. You can.
John Hurt.
Oh man, I remember this scene creeping me out so much as a kid. I was really wondering if he was like a villain or something along those lines, but just how intense he comes off when he's talking about the Dark Lord and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a true neutral character.
To be fair, they did him dirty, like when the Death Eaters show up and screw him over so much. I do wonder who would take over Ollivanders after he ends up passing on, though, in the wizarding world. I know John Hurt is sadly no longer with us. But he was like an aged wizard to begin with and everything.
You know what I just realized? His jacket that he's wearing, it's all torn up and scuffed and like ratty. Because I don't think he actually makes money on his wands.
That's an interesting thought process because he does, like, it's not a whole lot for a wand considering how vitally important it is. You could theoretically probably charge a lot more considering how well known Ollivander's wands are.
And theoretically, like, he won't have repeat customers.
Yeah.
Like, everyone buys one wand and that's it.
It does question why so many people in the series have hand-me-down wands.
Yeah.
Especially since considering how vital they are to a wizard.
I mean, a wand costs what? Is it 11 galleons or 17 galleons?
I want to say there was a 13 in there somewhere, but Brandy's looking it up right now. I kind of like the book's interpretation of him going through all the different wands and just plucking them out of his hand.
7 galleons.
Oh, 7 galleons.
Wait, hold on. But then this website I'm looking at says wands were cheap. At 7 galleons, Harry paid approximately $175 for his wand. I want to know where they think $175 is cheap.
That's not cheap.
That's not cheap.
I mean, it depends on like if you're comparing it to other like
purchase.
standardized equipment kind of thing. But I wouldn't say that that's cheap at all.
Is it ever mentioned that the in the movies that... Oh, no, wait. Yeah, we have that mentioned in book. Okay, never mind.
But then there's a Reddit r/Harry Potter that says the price of a wand is 7 galleons and it's approximately $50. So 7 galleons, we know that's true. What that converts to Muggle money is up for debate.
Well, we got to remember this took place in 1991, so for all we frickin' know, they might not have even taken inflation into consideration. Not to mention they're using American money. This should technically be
British pounds.
British pounds, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like,
Which British pounds and American dollars aren't super far off.
You get more.
They're close, but there is definitely a difference.
I think unless the British pound has dropped off the planet, you get more value for your pound than you do for your American.
Yeah, definitely.
Hedwig!
I wonder if hand-me-down wands are just, like, if you get, like, one from a secondhand store, if they're just dirt cheap because of, like, wand lore.
Yeah, who knows?
It's like practically have to give them away.
This is one of those moments where Daniel Radcliffe's just sort of reading lines. He's not like, I'm not
And
feeling
he's
it.
not emoting right.
Yeah.
Dude, kid's 11. I'll cut him some slack.
Yeah.
I know, but he's not 11 anymore, so I feel no guilt picking on him. Especially considering he got to play Weird Al.
Well, you can't pay. You can pick on him now for his current acting, but he was 11 at the time.
I mean, he's a good actor now from what I've seen of him. There's no way I'd get away with that.
I love how Harry looks like, who's listening?
And there we now have our first image. Oh god, this is so 90s TV, the way it's like moving in slow motion and everything. I could easily see them doing this on...
This looks like an episode of Charmed.
Yes.
That's
yes,
mean.
it does.
Yeah, but you're not wrong. Getting a whole visual image, basically, of the night itself.
Look at that cute little kid.
It's like, what the... I feel like the child would be a little upset if his mom just dropped in front of him like that.
100% that kid would be screaming.
Well, maybe, because maybe he thought she was playing peekaboo.
Yeah.
No.
The kid's like 1. I guess.
Speaking from personal experience with kids.
Yeah. If you don't reappear in 2 seconds, they scream.
I was just helping my brother out with his fiance and his 9-month-old son, and my brother was freaking out over the situation that was going on. And my 9-month-old nephew, who typically loves me and wants nothing to do with his mom and dad when I'm around, did not want me. He wanted his dad because his dad was freaking out, and he was freaking out. So
That makes sense.
Harry should have been screaming as a baby watching that all
That's fair.
happen.
And, even though that he doesn't have green eyes, they were still consistent in the film that the baby had blue eyes.
Yeah.
And that's because Daniel Radcliffe was allergic to contacts.
Yeah, so we can't even be mad that he's not wearing contacts.
Nah. It's forgiven.
Oh man, the time on this makes no sense. Were they hanging out with each other for a couple of months? Oh god.
Yeah, like a month and a half.
This is so wild.
A month.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things of shortening the,
He doesn't. Yeah, it's not like super important.
It's not
to get all
worth it
of
for a 2-second bridge. Hey, Uncle Vernon, can you take me to King's Cross?
Yeah.
But here's a problem. Why didn't he just take him?
Yeah, why didn't he just
based
take him
on
through
the
next
movie?
week?
Because that's the only part where it doesn't make sense. Is like you're with him, and then you're like, go get on the train,
And they're
and
in
then
the
it bails
train.
on him.
They're in the train station.
And it makes even less sense because Hagrid never would have learned to apparate, yet for some reason he's capable of doing it so effortlessly that it makes no noise.
Yeah.
In the books, adults can do that and everything, and they still make noise. Like I
Yeah,
think
but that's
what's
it.
his face said it, and it was a car backing up.
Yeah, but that's still an annoyance and a disconnect between all of the movies. They always change how the wizards apparate. First it's a pop, and then it's a puff of smoke that travels around, and I never.
Okay, pause, time out. I was always under the impression that the wizard's individual skill with the ability impacted how much noise it made and how much visual and audio.
See, I didn't.
So that means
that wouldn't make sense.
Hagrid just did a perfect apparition. No noise, no visual indication whatsoever. Harry turned his head for a second and Hagrid was gone. And this is off 4 years of Hogwarts education. Do you want to know how OP Hagrid would potentially be if he had his full wizarding, went through the whole thing? Some people made a comment online. It's just like, Hagrid was intentionally the one Voldemort threw under the bus just because of how powerful he could have possibly been.
Do we miss the classic Fred and George line, or is that a movie?
Yeah, we did.
Dang it!
I'm only kidding. I am George.
Honestly, woman, don't you call yourself our mother?
Classic.
Also, is her hat knit or crochet?
I can't tell.
Well, I need to see it again.
I don't think we're gonna get
I
another.
don't think we're gonna get another close up.
There's so many things to talk about and everything. Is this actually King's Cross like in real life here, or is this just another stage thing?
I'm not sure.
I've never been to Britain myself, so I have no idea. I do know that there's an actual image of the actual cart going halfway through and everything at the actual King's Cross, but I do know the book's description is inaccurate. Like that's not how it actually looks in real life compared to the book description.
I looked up a picture. Her hat is knit.
Okay.
because it's cabled.
That's what I thought. I mean, you can cable with crochet.
It's more difficult, but
It's more difficult.
I also saw knitwear at the movies. So it looks like knitting patterns from the movies.
Ooh.
We're gonna look that up
Except
later.
for I don't know how to knit.
But we're gonna look that up later.
Oh no. I just realized we have had no interactions with Malfoy whatsoever. He was supposed to appear...
Yeah, he's supposed to be in Madame Malkin's
getting his robe shut.
I also know he's supposed to show up during this scene at some point, but I don't think he does either. I think
where?
the first Malfoy. He does.
On the train.
Yeah, on the train.
Yep.
But I don't think he shows up until they're actually on the steps to get into the sorting. Yeah, we missed the whole Weasley conversation.
Talking over it.
Sorry. Well, that's kind of the point.
I want everything on the trolley too.
Heck yes.
It's so weird because Harry is still kind of dressed like he does at Dursley's and everything. So he doesn't look like he'd have anything on him in the scene.
Right.
He's just sort of like, oh yeah, casually rich. Here. To be fair, though, could you imagine finding out an entire world of candy that you've never had and you've got money in your pocket?
Yes, I'm going to bed with a stomachache tonight.
Man, I would want to try everything. Oh, I didn't notice that.
And he doesn't even know about the feast that he's going to have either.
Did you notice that when Ron's talking about the beans, Harry actually takes one out of his mouth because he's like, no, he doesn't trust it anymore.
I think I remember seeing that briefly when I was younger.
Oh shit! Albus. I wonder now, like, which actor they would use for like the frogs. Would they use the new one or the old one in terms of that? Like, do you think there'd be two different Dumbledore like chocolate frogs? You can actually go and get chocolate frog cards at the Wizarding World. I don't know if you can buy them outside of that. I haven't really seen them in the wild. But
I've seen in the wild chocolate frogs.
I'm now morbidly curious if.
But I don't think they're that classic shape. Hermione.
Neville was technically supposed to show up first before Hermione, if I recall correctly. Give you Emma Watson, the woman whose acting career is still going strong. Daniel Radcliffe has one, but
is it? What was the last thing she was in?
Beauty and the Beast, I think.
That was like 5 years ago.
Really? Oh no, don't want to think about it. I haven't heard anything new from her, but I don't exactly follow actors when it comes to movies and stuff. The only reason I knew Daniel Radcliffe was in the Weird Al movie 2 years ago, I think, is because I'm a Weird Al fan, and so as soon as that popped up, I already heard about it.
I was gonna say, I think Daniel Radcliffe's the only one who's like still consistently acting.
Well, he wasn't for the longest period of time.
I was just looking up to see if Emma Watson was doing any movies, and I got sidetracked by the fact that she was born in Paris, France, and her full name is Emma Charlotte Duer Watson.
All right.
She's an English actress, born to English lawyers who lived in France. Interesting.
That's weird.
Yep. All right. Now, is she in any movies? That's what I want to know.
Lately.
And Hermione is just...
Looks like she's doing a fashion career, mostly.
It's so weird. Hermione is just, like, stealing the movies and stuff. I do feel kind of bad that Rupert Grint didn't get nearly as much of his more iconic lines from the books.
So in 2019, she did Little Women, and that was the last movie. Other than, like, the television special where she appeared on the 20th anniversary of Return to Hogwarts.
Looks like, for movie-wise, Rupert Grint didn't have anything going on from 2015 until 2023.
Listen, he just bought himself an ice cream truck.
He was the one that was least interested in the movies.
That's how you do it.
But he did a couple shows.
I think he was in a military movie or something.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then he was just in Knock at the Cabin.
This would have been so cool to be an extra, especially for some of these scenes. I would have been around the right age for it. I think.
Yeah, we were only in Michigan, United States, instead of in London.
I entered a contest when the second movie was coming out to be an extra, but I think I wasn't technically old enough.
Mm.
Really?
I was a year too young.
I didn't even realize that was a thing. We didn't have access to the internet like we do now back in the day. And I doubted my mom would have been paying attention to this sort of stuff.
Yeah, my parents 100% were not.
Oh, we had internet.
Lucky you.
Well, my dad was a computer programmer,
Well,
so
my
of course
parents
he had
had
a computer.
internet, but like we were not paying attention to this kind of stuff.
I was obsessed with Harry Potter, so
I mean,
don't even
fair.
remember how it got. My mom let me enter, so.
Oh man, this is one of those things. The ghosts don't show up. They don't have the hats. I think they show up briefly at the end of the year, but yeah.
Yeah, because they throw them all in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And Slytherin.
Draco smirking.
I think that's the first time we see him. Actually,
I think so.
It is, and I think I'm gonna look this up just so before I say.
And there's Neville. Yeah, that's the first appearance of Neville as well in the scene.
Yeah, ironically, Tom Felton auditioned to be Harry or Ron.
Really?
And I don't think even tried out for Malfoy.
I mean, he's a natural blonde and everything. I could see them easily being like, "Oh, you got the chops and everything. We're gonna put you in Drake in there because, like, why not have a natural redhead?" It's Crabbe and Goyle in the background. They do nothing in the movies for the most part. He's easily one of the best actors when it comes to the kids and stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, and I lied. I guess Daniel Radcliffe was 12 when he was in this movie, not 11.
Oh, I mean, fair. We combine a lot of stuff all in this one scene.
I love the way Ron just kind of looks at him like, yeah, and?
He's not nearly as salty about being poor in the movies than he is in the books, that's for sure. Wait, did she tap him on the shoulder?
She did.
I never noticed that. I only just realized because of the little sound cue. Oh man. And there we go. It's got the music I associate with the Christmas scenes going on right now, with the bells and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. Is it me or does it feel smaller, the Great Hall?
A little smaller than like what they do in later movies.
It just feels smaller compared to what I remember in the book as well. I just imagine this being so much bigger.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like some churches would have a bigger main hall than this, to be perfectly honest. And it feels like being a castle and everything, you'd want as much space as possible. I have no idea who some of these actors are in terms, or who they're portraying, or who they are, like what their lessons are. I think I've seen like 3 individuals in the background in the scene, and I'm like, I have no idea what you do at Hogwarts, and I don't think we see you ever again.
Probably not. Dumbledore, we love you, but we've been on the train for 8 hours. We're hungry and we're standing. Can we sit down before we do this? Okay, thanks. Bye. Because in the books, didn't they do it after the sorting?
Yeah, they do the sorting first, then they have the food, and then he actually talks to them. I feel like it makes more sense though for like the movie flow and everything. Be like,
That's true.
Hagrid speaks, we do the sorting, and then we do the feast.
Hagrid speaks. I mean, Dumbledore speaks.
Oh man, we see Madame Hooch in the background. We see Quirrell, Snape.
Keep laughing, Ron. That's your future wife.
I don't see. I don't see I don't see Sprout.
Oh, are you naming the
Who?
I don't see Sprout, and I don't.
He was naming the teachers.
Yeah, I was paying attention to the background.
I love the way Dumbledore claps.
Hey, it's Lee Jordan. This is. We're not doing alphabetical, sadly.
Nope.
Because, well, to be fair, that was originally Hagrid's line, if I recall correctly.
I don't think that's true. I feel like there were plenty of wizards and wizards who
who were good in Slytherin.
All right, watching Snape.
Who were bad, who weren't in Slytherin.
Watching Snape. Glances. Yep, there we go.
He glances because he's like, oh.
Oh, there's Flitwick. Yep.
Yep.
Because he does show up later on, I think, in terms of things. He looks so different. He had a serious glow up. I don't know if he was doing his hair or his makeup routine or something, but man, he looks like he took a couple of years off in the.
Didn't they change actors for Flitwick?
No, same actor.
Oh.
They just turned him into something else.
They just changed the way they did his makeup or whatever.
What ended up happening is he didn't have any role for, I think, one of the movies, and so they had him do the conductor for the song that they ended up singing in one of the movies, and that just sort of became Flitwick's new look afterwards.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Let's see here. Oh man.
Also, sorry for the sniffles, guys.
How dare you?
There's a teacher that actually is of a darker complexion, trying not to sound racist in a sense. And I don't. Oh wow! Holy smokes! There's a whole bunch of extra professors.
I mean, there are a whole other bunch of classes that we never meet the teachers for.
Not
arithmancy, the Muggle studies teacher.
That was a woman, and I think she ended up dying in the final book.
Sure, in the 7th book it was a woman, but
it was originally Coral, apparently. But yeah, there's a lot more than just a couple of extra classes, though.
And we know that right now the Care Magical Creatures teacher should be Kettleburn.
Yeah, but I don't see Sprout. We did a full rotation. Professor Sprout has not been cast yet.
Was Hooch up there?
Yeah, you see her.
Hooch is up there.
Yeah, she's in. Yeah,
that's
there she is.
I mean, Sprout doesn't show up.
We just showed on Hooch.
Yeah, Sprout doesn't show up in this movie. Isn't even really.
Didn't she?
No.
No, because she's not mentioned in the books at all.
She's mentioned. It's the second movie we
see
with
her with
the Mandrakes, but we never actually get any herbology classes really. Well, in the first book we do.
We do.
That's where Draco finds out about the dragon because he overheard them. Oh, to be a kid at those feasts.
No kidding.
Are they I wonder if they let any of the how many? Oh well, yeah, they got them moving and stuff, and there's some people actually eating. So
there's plenty of fake dishes though. Apparently, sometimes they had to make sure the kids didn't grab the wrong plates.
Oh god.
And also had to make sure that certain actors had their pockets sewn shut
so they wouldn't steal the food.
Tom Felton.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. Hey, there's Percy, a character whose importance dwindles quite rapidly over the course of the movies. I think he ends up being only showing up in Order of the Phoenix and with a no talking thing.
For Percy?
Yeah, I don't think he has any lines in the final movie.
To be fair, he's a kind of a twat in the books at that point.
I know, but having an antagonistic Weasley member family, I feel like that would have been interesting.
There's the Friar.
And the Bloody Baron, boy, is he not even remotely book accurate.
Nope.
I think he shows up for a brief bit later on, but I don't think he's ever gets any more lines out of this.
So, Nicholas.
Yeah, because they cut out the death tape part.
Oh god! You see him roll his eyes? What a stupid question.
No.
Of course you know exactly how that works. Harry looks so unimpressed. Hey, there are the hats on Percy.
And other prefect. That looks like Ravenclaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But not on. They were on everyone else because Fred and George and Lee Jordan had them.
It's very consistent. It's supposed to be part of the uniform, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
You're supposed to always have them on throughout the course of the books.
And their uniform is supposed to be the robes, not an actual school uniform underneath.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be closed robes, not however they are here. I assume.
To be fair, they end up wearing normal clothes under the robes for a good chunk of the rest of the movies.
Yeah, they really do.
They got a little lazy in terms of the costuming department, to be honest. But then again, maybe all the money went to the special effects.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Harry ends up wearing a hoodie and a t-shirt for what? 90% of the movies?
The same shirt.
Oh,
Don't pause.
And there she is, the fat lady. We couldn't have come up with a better name, apparently.
I think she has a name. I just don't know what it is.
We're gonna look it up.
Fair enough. I feel like this was supposed to be a hole, similar to like a hobbit hole, rather than just an actual doorway.
It was, because in some of the video games it's a hole.
I know Ginny almost trips on it at some point, and like I think it was
Neville does trip on it in the first book, doesn't he?
I can't remember. He had to hop in because his legs were bound, which is actually a scene that's in the Great Hall in the movie. Yeah, Neville's more or less kind of written out of this, out of the movies and stuff for the most part. He becomes more important gradually, but like he's a lot more relevant in the books than he is in a lot of the early movies. Oh man, I would.
Yeah, we don't know anything about her.
Oh god.
Don't know her name, how or when she died, nothing.
Oh wow, this is such a nice scene. I would love if there was like some sort of like Airbnb or something or a hotel that was Harry Potter themed, so you could actually hang out. Like each of the rooms was like one of like the room that you like one of the houses would have
That'd
in
be
order to
awesome.
sleep. Oh man, people are missing out in terms of money when it comes to like getting millennials to pay for things, so they could just have a hotel, a Harry Potter themed hotel.
Love this scene.
It's inaccurate though.
I don't care. I love it. Can you imagine though? Come on, those fish. We were late. Transforms. Did you see Hermione's eye roll?
Oh yeah, Draco was smirking as well because of how bad they were at actually showing up on time. She's not supposed to do that until year 3, I think, where she shows off she's an animagus.
Yeah, because I think that's when they start talking about animagus.
And the fact that like she was upset that nobody was impressed too. I love the idea that she'd be a little hurt that everybody wasn't impressed by her ability to turn into a cat. I worked really hard on that, students, and you're not impressed? How dare you?
Sniff, sniff. Yes, the potion scene.
Oh man, this room looks different than what I feel like it would be based off of its description. But oh man, there's just something about like the way this is shot and just how you see everything. The cauldrons are already smoking and stuff. Oh man, Alan Rickman, my dude, you are just eating the scenery, my boy, and I'm loving every second of it. He is way too old to be playing the character as portrayed in the book, but
just like if he doesn't do a good job.
Just like with Maggie Smith, Alan Rickman, we're giving you a nice little pass. I love this though. Not
pay attention.
Ironically enough, he is in fact paying attention. He is in fact taking notes on exactly what you're saying.
To do in school.
And then you're going to get on everybody in the book about not taking notes, and that's exactly what Harry is doing.
Look at the look on Ron. Ron's like, shit, man, we're screwed.
It's one of those. Oh, yep, there her hands up, and she's like, "Oh my god." What was it I was going to say? Oh shoot! I had something, and now I've completely forgotten. It's gonna bug me forever.
You'll come back. You'll think of it eventually. Hermione's like, please, 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 I know this.
They don't mention Snape being mean to other students in the movies.
In the books or the movies?
In the books, yes. That's where we get our information. In the movies, they never mention like Snape heavily favoring any one class or anything. He seems to like Malfoy, but there's no indication that he's really cruel or taking points away or anything along those lines to other houses, like playing favorites.
Oh, yeah.
This is new. This was not in the book.
This was not in the books, but also you're 11. Why are you trying to turn a glass of water into rum?
Because reasons? Stop eating food on me. I think I've got a little bit of my dinner leftovers on me. My cat's
we have cats trying to eat us for love. They also haven't been fed their... No, they had their dinner. It's just not mealtime yet.
This is so much different. In the original, I believe they actually land in front of you and deliver things rather than
just
dropping them
dropping
on
it,
top of
yeah.
their heads. I saw one of the students in the background just was like really confused as something just flew and hit her head, basically. Also, why the hell is Ron getting the freaking newspaper? No, dead serious. Ron just got the newspaper. That was originally supposed to be a scene in Hagrid's like hut and everything, where he notices that. And he's missing his robes. Oh man, Lee Jordan looks like he's ready to say something, but knows better than to say something. So keep your noses out of it. Oh man, if I was by myself, I'd be more than happy to pause the movie and actually pay attention and see what is actually said. Because it looks like he's.
Yeah.
I read a good chunk of the article and everything. Harry is in fact reading it word for word.
I got accosted by your cat.
Yeah.
Big shock.
Nimbus wanted water.
I gave them water when I got
It
home.
was like
It's
empty.
not purified water.
No, it was like empty.
Oh.
Oh, they got her eyes right though.
Who?
Hooch's eyes, yes.
She's got the
Her-
bright yellow hawk eyes.
Yes, if you're like it focuses in on and then pulls back.
Transfiguration spell gone wrong.
No, she is just that in love with flying. She is legitimately a bird in human clothing. If I recall correctly, Malfoy wasn't that great at getting the broom up the first try, but we got to have some semblance of a rivalry because if we don't have something, Draco Malfoy's just an annoying twat. Oof.
Oh, see, I thought it was just that he was not sitting on his broom correctly.
There was something going on, but I do recall that only Harry was the one who got his.
Harry got his immediately.
Yeah, and he was the only one that did it. The idea of going off and having fun and everything and flying was just my shit. Oh man, it is kind of funny though if you're paying attention to the classrooms and stuff. Malfoy and the Slytherins are in every single class with them.
Well, yeah, you gotta have antagonism.
Well, the thing is though, is they didn't really. They
They
only
don't
had
have
so many
time-
kids in
Yeah,
this.
they don't have any time to cast any other
No.
kids, so it's got to have the main kids all together all the time.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh god, the CGI for this. Oh man, this kind of hurts. Oh man, we got PlayStation
Look,
2
man.
era graphics, folks.
Look, when it came out though, this was like state of the art.
Hooch, why the hell are you dodging out of the way when you've got kids behind you? Seriously.
Self-preservation.
I know, but you're supposed to be the person that takes the hit rather than letting the kids pass. Oh god. That would not have looked good on the year-end review, basically, if Neville ended up accidentally running into another one of the students after it turned out
Also-
she could have taken the hit.
She could have prevented Neville from falling.
Yeah, Dumbledore does something like that in like,
Arresto momentum.
Yeah, in movie 3. But to be fair, if she didn't leave, we wouldn't have this epic confrontation.
Yeah.
I wasn't down here when it happened, but when he gets his Rememberall and it turns red,
I already
he's
mentioned
not wearing his robes. Oh, you mentioned
yeah,
it?
I mentioned
Oh, thank
that.
goodness somebody did.
To be honest, there's dead air going on, so it wasn't hurting that much.
I'm sorry. I knew I had an alarm coming up, and I wanted to turn the alarm off, and then I. It's a good thing you were upstairs because I messed up our audio for a second.
Oh no.
Whoops.
Kimmy and I are sharing audio on one device, and I
Also-
messed it up.
How did he go from like standing onto his broom to being on the broom properly like that? Like impressive? Did he do a flip?
Oh man. Hermione's got a comment for everything and everybody.
Yep.
I get the feeling Hermione's, like, Emma Watson was probably the best out of the three of them when it came to acting at this age, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's why she ended up getting a lot more lines at a lot more moments. She's good, though. I'll give her that. I believe her when she's saying shit in some of these scenes.
Right in McGonagall's office.
To be fair, how else was she going to, like, notice this and everything? Like, why would she not? The fact that he did, like, a perfect flip on the broom and everything after catching the actual item.
And then just tossed it in the air and caught it, like
And just the fact that she's like, yes, yes, yes. You could see the excitement in her eyes when she sees what was going on.
I like how so much more excited the students are in this scene, though.
And dang, she got down there fast.
Girl can move, man. She wants that Quidditch Cup bad, and she's willing to run for it, babe. People. I love how Harry's like, wood. Oh shit, is it a cane?
I love how he's still carrying his broom too.
The broom.
Well, to be honest, we have no
And
idea
the
where.
Remember All.
I think it's the last time we see the Remember All, folks. Harry pocketed it. You heard it here first. Why do you have an iguana?
Why not?
This is so wild seeing.
It's an evil iguana, obviously.
Something is alive and roaring in that room, and I have concerns.
He's so confused.
Why is this? Okay.
It's a closely guarded secret. Of course, everybody knows.
I know, but why in the world is we using Sir Nicholas as, like... I gotta be honest with you, out of all the characters they probably could have cut from the entire movie series, sadly, Sir Nicholas Medimsey Pompadour, whatever his full name is, probably is one of them.
He's an important character in the second book, though.
Not...
He gets Harry out of detention, and there's the whole Death Day party.
Yeah, that's completely and totally not talked about at all throughout that movie.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see here. I think there's a brief moment after Sirius Black's death where they actually talk to each other, but that's about it.
Because he talks about Sirius being a ghost, and he's like, he won't be.
Yeah, because he's a brave man, unlike me. It's kind of a heartbreaking realization, basically. Those ghosts are forever trapped on the mortal plane, basically, because they were afraid to see what was on the other end of that at their end.
And seeing in the movies, they make James Potter a seeker, but I'm pretty sure that in the books, it's never mentioned.
He's a chaser. He's a chaser. It's
Did
directly...
they mention it in the books?
Yeah.
Specifically, or just Pottermore?
I'm fairly confident somewhere in the books where he was mentioned as a chaser. He was playing with a snitch, though, during the flashback, then Snape's bad day. Which I don't think is actually even shown. Like, they cut that down pretty fiercely in the actual movie. There's some creepy ass shit going on in this first book. In this first movie. There's like some... I think it's abandoned is what it is.
Abandoned, forbidden, what's the difference?
Nope. J.K. Rowling stated it. It was never in the books.
Oh.
It was... But everyone assumed he was a seeker because of the movie, and then the flashback for the 5th book.
Interesting. I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. We have a severe lack of Neville. You heard it here, folks. This is probably the most intimidating Filches ever. Because... he's not really that scary at any other point in time in the series.
Aww, such a cute puppy. Look at the baby. Quick, Brandy, what kind of dog is that?
A 3-headed one.
Jeez, so helpful.
Very helpful.
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
It looks like some sort of bully breed.
It really kind of does, but the fur looks just fluffy enough that I wouldn't exactly consider it one, you know?
You looking it up?
Yes.
Oh, God. Technically speaking, if we go by the actual translation and stuff according to Greek, a 3-headed dog, being a Cerberus, should technically have more in common with a Dalmatian.
That's right, because Hades named his dog Spot.
Exactly! Yeah, I'm so glad you guys got that.
Aha! The film version of Fluffy is...
I'm going to bed. Another view. Another idea.
I moved my hair and I paused it.
Spelled.
Sorry.
She needs to sort out her priorities. Ah, that line. I use that on some of my relatives because they really do need to sort out their priorities. I understand. I think he shows up for a brief cameo in the final movie, but I don't think we actually see much of Wood after, I think, the second movie.
No.
I think he's got a couple lines in the second movie, and then he's never talked about or mentioned again.
Now we're ahead of this.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh
just
man.
Pause and play real quick.
Then I'm going to be off.
No.
Or
No, you're fine. We
Okay.
got messed up.
yeah, this is a work in progress, folks. We've never really actually done this before, and I doubt we're going to be doing this too many more times, since I doubt we're going to be playing any of the. Or we're only got so many movies to go through, unless we want to do the Magical Beasts at some point.
No, listen. Next time we're just gonna get.
Close enough, I think.
We're just gonna get the thing that splits the audio for us, and we don't have to try and sync stuff because apparently I'm bad at messing with stuff.
All right, if you get that, we are doing all of the Harry Potter movies at some point. We'll just have to wait until after we're done with the final chapter, do the final movies. Might do some like wrap up stuff for like the what if stuff, depending on how that works out.
Episodes.
And then we'll probably pop in the rest of the actual movies over the course of like splitting them up or something.
How are we gonna do the 7th one?
What do you mean?
The 7th. There are 8 movies and 7 books.
We're gonna do them afterwards. We're gonna probably have like the first movie and then the second movie, and we might split them up. And we'll see what happens. The tricky thing about this is because we've got kids and everything. It might be a little while before we do each one.
He should be wearing gloves. Stitches have flesh memories, and he just touched it.
Both of them did. To be honest, that's never really talked about
in the movies. No. Also, Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Oh, so it's the Staffy. So I was right. It is a bully breed.
It's a fluffy bully breed.
He's not that fluffy. It looked like it was short.
They can have short, fluffy hair.
It's a very cute dog, though. I kind of bummed that she never, like, J.K. Rowling never did.
Did you look up what the CGI was specifically for Harry Potter, or just what Cerberus was?
What the movie was. Like, the film version of Fluffy is supposed to be
a Staffy.
A Staffy.
I wonder whatever happened to the dog.
That tracks with Hagrid, let's be real.
He would be totally in love with the dogs that have the bad reputation.
Look, man, in the...
Horribly misunderstood creatures.
In the books, or in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them book, in Harry's edition, it's literally got a note where it's like the 5X rating, which means dangerous, or in his notes he wrote in, or anything Hagrid likes.
Alright, more classic scenes. Did she actually say that in the actual book?
No, I think all she said was Leviosa. What's the corrected pronunciation?
Okay, so she wasn't talking about him poking somebody's eye out, basically.
Well, they also didn't make a note of him going bam, bam, bam with a wand.
Creative liberties.
Yeah, clearly. Anything to make Ron look a little bit worse. Oh, man. Look at the smug look on her face, too. Jeez, no wonder. Like, it's a wonder Ron's not saltier and stuff when it comes to this stuff.
I love the theory that the reason why Seamus gets everything wrong is because he's got too thick of an accent. That's why his spells go wrong.
No.
Oh, God. I'm going to get into the linguistics of this freaking spell casting system.
Pronunciation is important.
They do change things up, though. In the movies...
That is...
In the books, she runs into Harry.
But on accident, but you can clearly see that she overheard and purposely ran into him.
Yeah.
Because she was at least a few feet away.
Behind.
She was far enough away that she was not in their way.
But to be fair, if I was Hermione, I probably would have, at that age, I would have done the same thing. And in fact, I did do the same thing as a child. When I was being bullied, I bullied back. In ways that I wouldn't get in trouble.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Teachers weren't helping, that's for sure.
Oh, jeez. But it's weird, though, in the movies and stuff, you actually see Harry hanging out with more than just Ron. He's actually... They're hanging out with, like, other students in Gryffindor and everything. They had a whole freaking, like, group there. Like, they had their own little Marauders group for, like, a hot second, basically. With them, like, complaining about Hermione.
They haven't all clicked off yet.
Yeah. Don't you want to know? Oh, man.
The only time we see Ron put down his food.
Islands.
Now this is why we know this Dumbledore is the best.
goes from being a nice, soft-spoken old man, and then the second something goes wrong, the frickin' room is mine.
If he had made it, if he had lived long enough to be Dumbledore in book 4, he would have definitely been. Did you put your name in the goblet, Harry? Not.
He said,
Did you put your
"Call
name?
me."
Not. Did you put your name in the goblet?
Here
Oh,
goes
man.
Snape sneaking off.
That's one of those moments where you realize he could have done the more intense scenes in the later movies if he had managed to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I would have loved to have lived in the universe where he got to keep going throughout the whole movie series.
The look Ron makes for a second, he's like, "And why do we care?"
Oh.
Okay, fine. Oh, Harry's running off. I better follow.
Some people are leaders and some people are followers.
Also, by the way, folks, I think both the Hufflepuff or at least Slytherins is in the dungeons and everything. Yes. I remember seeing that image where it was like everybody had, but our common room is in the dungeon. Oh my God, Malfoy! Like I care. Oh boy, I think something like that picked on me back in middle school. Oh boy. Crap. This is a lot more dangerous than I remember it being in the books, folks.
To be fair, I like the books better where they lock the troll in with her. And they're
cheer,
like, shit.
And then scream.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, fuck.
We had such a smart move. Also, why in the world are the bathroom doors so big that a troll can get through it? I understand the halls being that big, but seriously, who was going to Hogwarts that was that big and needed to use the girls' loo?
Maybe he ducked? I don't know.
I mean, like fair? Harry's like, okay, she said help. Time to get in here. Action hero. CGI Harry. Oof. And
in the nose.
You are so lucky you did not break your wand in this adventure, my boy. Because, boy, you would be screwed if something happened to that wand before year 4.
Dumbledore would have fixed it, though. He had the other wand.
He did.
Oh, shit! Yep.
He would have fixed it.
He would have made sure that he fixed it, because he's like, I can't let Harry not achieve his destiny because his wand's broken.
If we actually pay attention, the wand designs do change after some point, but I can't remember which one. I think Harry stays relatively the same, but I could have sworn it was a darker black.
Yeah, I thought it was close to black.
I love the fact that Daniel Radcliffe had no idea that he broke so many wands.
I think one of the actors or actresses said that they intentionally didn't keep any of the wands because they had changed designs over the course of the series. That they had intentionally kept certain things that were from this movie that stayed the same in terms of image or like image-wise.
Fair enough.
I can't remember which actor it was. I want to say it was Emma Watson, but I can't remember. I think so. Just knocked out. If you watch, though, like, seeing Rupert Grint actually making facial expressions in the background is actually pretty accurate.
Is it like watching Legolas in Lord of the Rings?
Legolas trolls the camera. Ron is in the universe while he's, like, acting in terms... Like, Rupert Grint is in the universe while he's in the background. Seeing like, Ron's facial expressions, like, can you believe this chick?
I keep looking down at the wrong times to do my crochet.
Wait, you can't do this.
Harry's like, what?
Oh, there's the leg thing. To be fair, that makes more sense for him to notice now rather than stumble in on it later.
The
because it's like, why would he not get that looked at immediately that night?
Right. And then the look that Harry gave him, like, what were you doing?
The fact that Snape realized that Harry noticed as well was actually pretty good eye play. It was like, okay, we both know you were up to something, right? We're just not going to talk about it.
But like, I feel like Snape should be like, shit, he knows about Fluffy because like anybody else, like as a kid, if they had seen that mingled
luck,
yeah, God, that delivery,
that mingled leg, they would just be like, oh. Are you okay? They'd be worried. But Harry is suspicious.
The kids just casually walk out.
Look, man, Harry knows a bad guy when he sees one.
Quirrell, man, dude, you're carrying some of these
Does
scenes.
he? Because he thought Snape was the villain the whole time, and it was Quirrell.
To be
But
fair,
he wasn't
Snape is
wrong about Snape being a bad dude.
I mean, to be fair, he was a Nazi. Or a magical equivalent. Willingly, folks. He signed up to be a Death Eater,
Yep.
free of charge, folks. He changed his mind after the girl he was simping for decided that she was going to actually, fight the good fight. And then he's like, oh shit, my actions have consequences.
Actually, technically, he only changed his mind when Voldemort decided to specifically target the girl he was simping for.
Yeah, fair enough.
Due to the information that he...
Oh man, the little noise
gave.
scrunch. The noise scrunch when she's thinking and everything. That's cute. He does intense really well, though. I'll give it this. You give 12-year-old Daniel Radcliffe
a serious line to deliver.
Oh, he can do it.
Don't open this at the table. Don't let people know what it is.
Opens it at the table.
Literally a broom-shaped package.
Also a broom-shaped package.
Okay, but come on. What 11-year-old isn't going to just automatically go for the gift? Like, that's something like a really, really polite kid's going to do is if they go for the letter. Like, the
fact that I feel like he wouldn't... That toast is so burnt. Unless it's pumpernickel. But in all fairness, Harry would never think a package was for him, so he would check to make sure, like, is this really for me?
Gee willikers, I wonder who could have done this. I love the Quidditch robe design. It's so cool.
They are cool.
They're the twins, a couple of human bludgers themselves. Oh man, the music's actually pretty good right here. We do hear a lot of, like, reused like musical like notes and cues and stuff, but some of it's pretty good.
Motifs.
Yeah. And the movie Quidditch matches are so much rougher than in the books. In the books, it's like you screw with somebody, you get penalty shots. In this one, they're like they're mafia. This is hockey, man.
This is hockey.
They have I would not be surprised if like movie Quidditch had people like literally get off their brooms and throw freaking down before like the ref's turn, and the ref is like, all right, we can only have this, we can allow this for a couple more minutes. You know what I mean?
It's like the book Quidditch is closer to soccer. This is more hockey.
I went to a fight. I went to a fight, and they had a hockey match around it. Oh man, they do not let him do a whole lot of like moving around. I feel like in the books and stuff, they're like Harry's constantly doing something, whereas in this first Quidditch match, he's kind of just sort of sitting back, actually watching the game from a broom, basically.
Yeah.
I think Flint only shows up in this movie, and that's pretty much it. I don't think he shows up again after this, does he?
I don't know.
Bullshit.
I don't know.
She stares at the Slytherins specifically. To be fair, though, the Slytherins team is a hell of a lot more diverse than it's considered in the books. I think at some point in time, it's all meatheads, basically, that are guys, basically. There's a couple of women on the Slytherin team in this one. I wonder if any of the extras actually got to continue on, like, oh, I was an extra in all of the Harry Potter movies, basically, because I was a student around, you know what I mean? But I don't think a lot of these, like, even named characters, like Elisa Spinnet and stuff that are on the Gryffindor Quidditch team, I don't think they ever show up past this point in the movies, do they?
Here and there, I think they do.
Well, obviously the twins don't count. Yeah, but I don't think Johnson, like, the actress for some of these, like, Quidditch players ever show up again after
What about
this.
the necklace? Does that scene happen in the movies?
No, I don't think it does. I don't remember. Oh, well, no, yeah, it does. It does happen, but I don't know if the actress enduring that is the same actress from this movie.
Oh.
That's what I was kind of mentioning.
Gotcha. I'm not sure.
She's full on just punted, basically. I do love that aspect, though, that, like, Wood's using his broom as part of the way to block it. Like, dude, Wood's just styling out of, like, you know what? I'm going to do a freaking flip while my back's turned to you in order to knock the ball away from the freaking goalpost. That's, like, 2 middle fingers directly at your opponent. I'm so good, I don't even need to look at you.
You know, surprisingly, in the movies they have girls on the Slytherin team, but in the books they mention that there are no girls on the Slytherin
Yeah.
team.
I know that was mentioned
Ooh.
later on, but I didn't realize.
Elbowed in the nose.
Oh, caught that one. Pitch. I also don't think that's legal.
It's not. That's a penalty.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to attack the keeper.
I think you could, but he's not a beater. He shouldn't be taking the beater's club.
God, mafia style here, man. We do not. We take no freaking prisoners.
Also, I think in the books the
Holy!
stands
He
are
just
all
jumped
more of a,
over one of the twins. Jeez.
and the stands are like I think A lower and B are like all next to each other. Whereas in here they're like each of them are in their own.
But it also looks like that's not just it's. I don't know. It looks
like
yeah.
there's
Look,
yeah.
yeah.
How
down-
many kids are here? How many people are here watching Quidditch?
I think Lucius is actually watching one of the games in book 2, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yes.
Yeah, because the scene where Malfoy lands and he lands in the splits.
Yeah.
And
Okay, somebody took over for Keeper after Wood got knocked out. So either I think one of the chasers is trying to basically. Man,
Thank you.
that's the one thing I never got is why they didn't have backup people so they could switch people out basically.
They do though. They mention it later that they have people who are like reserve members. Like Ginny becomes a reserve member.
Yeah, but that's only specifically because some of them are getting kicked off of the team by Umbridge.
Yeah, but then they mentioned that they're still like. But you're right. You think you'd have all of them training all the time.
And if somebody ends up taking a spill or something, you know, they'll be all right. You get him off the field. You're subbing in real quick. Kind of like hockey, considering.
Or any sport.
You know, yeah, because like every single sport usually has at least a backup and a backup for a backup, unless you're really down on your finances. Whoa. Any of the teachers want to, you know, but well, I mean Snape, yeah, but anybody else?
Nah.
That person in the background looks like they're cheering for Harry to fall off and die. Lucius, is that you?
probably.
She was supposed to bump into Coral when she heads up here, rather than, you know, Snape standing up and breaking eye contact that way. And it's also the fire is different as well. I think it's supposed
to be the Bluebell flame
yeah,
that she scoops back up.
Hermione's specialty. I do like that if you pay attention, Quirrell is in the background of the scene, though.
I think somebody does bump into him.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so
originally
as
it was
soon as
supposed to
Snape
be
was, like,
Hermione.
Jumped around.
Yeah, we get a full scene now of Quirrell. It does kind of lose it a little bit when you start actually seeing the camera focus on him a bit. Because it's like, all right, come on, you're supposed to fake it a bit. Wham! Harry is just freaking aggressive. Like, this is at 11, you're going up against a kid who's got to be, what, like maybe 4 years his senior?
Probably. Well, because he's the captain of the team.
No, Flint's the captain, and he's a chaser.
Is he?
Yeah. Because this Seeker never shows up
you're
again.
right. Because
So it's probably like a 7th year then.
At most. Oh god, could you imagine Harry's like literally taking on somebody like who's gonna be graduating, and he's like, I'm gonna run into this kid. Well, I'm the skinniest, scrawniest kid. I don't understand why the Sorting Hat was having a problem putting him in Gryffindor, because I could promise you this: this kid has no brains, nothing but guts.
Well, what just happened? What did it say?
Sound. It just beeped.
You were making a comment about Harry.
No, our headphones just talked, and it did something, and I don't know.
We might be experiencing some technical difficulties here, folks. Are you guys? Did you guys losing your charge or something?
I don't think so.
It just got weird for a second.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it connected again. Hold on.
Oh, that's not good. Anyway, okay, so we're having technical difficulties on the fly and everything. We are not going to be redoing this movie anytime soon, so I guess you're just going to be listening to me talking over it.
No, we're connected again. We just gotta.
Okay.
Okay, we're ahead. Hold on, we're pausing.
All right, fair enough.
You guys
We've got
keep
the celebratory music. We've got the bat bump between the twins in the background and everything. I'm kind of surprised the Slytherins are still flying around,
we're a second
but I think they're
behind, but we're close.
slowly moving back down. Yeah. kind of surprised they're not like putting him on his shoulders, considering how small he is. It'd be really easy, actually.
Okay.
You're trying to get past that three-headed dog. Who told you about Fluffy? That thing has a name.
That thing has a name.
It's the Golden Trio sharing one brain cell. Yes? Said that. Should know. That's gonna be more questions. Secret, that is. That's me talking to my kids most of the time. No more questions. Davis Wait! Madam Who... No! Sprout had to show up because Sprout was the one who did the thing
Yeah.
for the Devil's Snare.
Yeah, they
man.
mentioned that, but it's not like we don't have the class for it, though.
She's described, I think, at some point in time during the first feast scene and everything. I think
In the books, yeah.
Oh man, but
Yeah, we talked about that because there was.
I know, but if the movies had so many were made after so many books, I think the fourth book was out at this point in time at least. So it's kind of surprising they didn't have Professor Sprout casted already at this point in time, considering
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, I think the only other teacher that it becomes super relevant intentionally is mentioned as not coming down to the Great Hall very often, and that's Trelawney, yeah. Because Hagrid becomes a teacher in year 3 when that becomes an important aspect, I think. So, yeah. Like, none of the other teachers outside of Professor Sprout are, they're all introduced, I think, as they're needed, with the exception of Trelawney. Oh God, could you imagine hanging out here during Christmas? Oh man, it's weird that Wizard Chess just sort of dropped off a cliff as well after a certain point.
Right,
Okay, this is confusing though.
Okay, I'm gonna try him.
Yep.
Okay, we're waiting for it.
No.
You haven't. Change of plans.
We're off.
Oops.
I miss the Weasley family shit that happens over Christmas.
Nope.
Not in the restricted section.
This makes no sense because Harry goes to the restricted section on his own impulse.
Yeah.
We're kind of taking Harry's agency away from him in a sense by having that scene.
And yeah, Hermione's not supposed to be the rule breaker.
Not yet,
but
anyway. She's
totally is right now.
She doesn't. Putting that in there makes it so she doesn't really have much character change. And also, they're supposed to have the presence in the actual room, not down here. I mean, it makes more sense for them to want to do.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
We're synced together.
Just you keep it over there in case it messes
Looks
up
like
again.
he's a lot less upset about getting a maroon sweater in the movie. And the twins and Percy are not involved in this at all, even though they're you'd think they at least would have put them in the background. But it's
where did they go for the Christmas holiday?
Yeah. It's just Ron and Harry down here next to the Christmas
tree. They went to
opening
Egypt
presents.
or Romania. Or Romania, that's what it was.
It's one of those weird things. It would make Ron kind of even more of a bro if he's I'm staying here with Harry over Christmas.
Yeah.
And the rest of the family went off to spend time together. Ron's definitely taken a little bit more, it's more of a sacrifice in that sense. And it makes him more of a friend in a way.
There's more food at Hogwarts.
Well, the way my mom's... Ouch. Sorry, Mom. The way our finances were back in the day with me and everything, I think I would have stayed there in order to make sure no offense, Mom. I love you. But yeah, I'd be one of those students who would stay there just to make sure that my mom didn't have to worry about paying for me for those 2 days. Ugh. We're getting some uncomfortable historical facts with Mitchell here. We're moving on.
Oh, it's okay. We still love you. Or we love you all the more for it.
You also say that I wasn't part of the Fish family for every single Christmas of my childhood.
I don't know if I was or not.
The Fish family?
For those of you who don't know or don't have it, Fish Family was a program in the county I grew up in where if you didn't have a lot of money, you could register to be like adopted by another family, so
Ah.
that like your kids would have Christmas presents and stuff.
Oh shit! My parents were the ones who were. We used to do the angel tree at our church, where we would get gifts for underprivileged children.
Mm.
I guess my family was
Oh
like
God. Harry, why did you
lower
take the
middle
cloak
class.
off? Harry, why did you take the cloak off?
Because he dumb boy. He
I
not
mean,
a
I
smart
guess
boy.
we
Look,
paid
man,
for
it's
the
the
actor.
same
We might as well
reason
have him on screen.
That we lower the volume of our music in the car so we can we can find our directions better. Okay.
Yes.
Shit.
He couldn't read the book as well if he wasn't in his cloak.
At least he had the good sense to actually put it back on, unlike in the actual book where he's, leaves the fucking thing up on the astronomy tower.
True.
This scene confused me so much as a kid, that one that's coming up. Mainly Filch just being really fucking creepy and scary at this point in time. But
He's
I
always
honestly
creepy and
thought
scary.
Filch, Snape, and Quirrell were all in on stealing the stone.
Yes.
I have no idea how I came to that conclusion.
Because it's never one bad person, it's a bunch of bad people working together.
That's such a, oh god, alternate reality where that was actually the plot point, where all three of them are actually in cahoots to steal the damn thing. And Voldemort's just a character that died, so many years ago. What a weird universe that would have been, and a new villain for each book.
But with the fluffy hair.
All right. Apparently, cats can see you while you're in the cloak. So much for being able to
Remember,
avoid death.
we think she's an easel, Pert Easel.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think that was ever brought up in the actual.
Also, have you seen our cats? They see ghosts. Okay.
Fair.
100%.
Cats
Mrs.
definitely see ghosts.
100% Mrs. Norris could see under that cloak.
Oh, brother.
And here we suspect
Snape.
the occlumency.
I love the idea that Snape heard Harry.
But then don't we start thinking occlumency?
Direct eye contact.
It has to be direct eye contact.
Oh.
He does the hand thing.
Whereas I was thinking, I thought he could just detect
but if you watch
nearby.
Quirrell in that scene as well, you actually notice he's staring directly at Harry basically the entire time. We combine so many things though in this scene. If you do watch though, they do part before Filch shows up.
I love how they look at each other and then take off running.
They're both acting like they're actual teachers in this moment instead of a spy and a Dark Lord wannabe.
Also, it's during vacation. Why does it matter as much?
Rule enforcement for Snape is I get to punish somebody who might not be in my house. Of course, I'm going to take every advantage I can. And there is the Mirror of Erised. And magical theme and everything. Harry taking off the cloak. We had a lot. We do lose out on Ron being a bro during this whole Christmas break and everything.
True, he gets to see.
Yeah, but this and we only get to see his actual parents because in the book, obviously, we see Harry's whole extended family in the actual mirror. Oh man. Some of the work on the props and everything for this movie. There's just there's some things the first Harry Potter movie does so well compared to its successors, and some of the props and some of the physical stuff they have around here is just second to none. If I recall, they wanted to get J.K. Rowling to actually portray Lily Potter when they were originally doing the casting for this, and she apparently turned them down.
Didn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good that she had the sense to be yeah, have an actress actually doing this and everything. Don't bring me in. But it is kind of an interesting idea. I kind of wonder, as a writer,
the mother of Harry Potter, playing the mother of Harry Potter.
Yeah, I feel like that would actually really that would be such a it's a nice touch. I honestly think it's one of those things that's that's clever.
Yeah, it is clever, but also thank goodness.
Oh God, could you imagine being in that image and everything? If she touches you in the mirror, do you feel the sensation if you're looking directly in the mirror?
I think your mind would interpret it as there's a sensation there.
Dear God, how creepy would that be? your friend waking up from the dead of sleep and then appearing in front of you and visually like that. God, you know you're a wizard if that does not scare the bejesus out of you. Somebody wakes me up from a dead sleep, they're getting a freaking fist at the very least, or a kick.
Yeah.
My wife sometimes gets kicked on occasion, even though she doesn't deserve it.
How rude.
You have not seen him sleep in bed, man. It's a disaster.
I've seen Cameron sleep in bed and shared bed with Cameron, and he's a disaster. He starfishes, and I get pushed to the edge.
He starfishes too.
To be perfectly honest, though, babe, you also rotate like nobody's business. I've seen you like turning around and around like a rotisserie chicken in bed.
I gotta find that comfortable spot.
Clearly, you struggle to find it every night. It must reset or move every night.
Every night.
Every night. That's such a depressing thought process. Ron's like, "Can this show the future?" And Harry's like, "No way, Jose." All right. This is such a nice moment and everything between Harry and Dumbledore, and the music and freaking camera work and everything. Just totally shows up in the background. I feel like Dumbledore doesn't even need to read the kid's mind to know exactly what he's seeing in that mirror. So many of them. It's kind of comical. It's like there's no scolding. There's no moment of like, Harry, you're not supposed to be out of bed. Shows. Whatever.
I don't know.
Oh man. But
At that current moment in time, not ever.
it's one of those things where it's like this would be like an interesting thing to discover. Like, what's your Patronus? What kind of wand would you have? What would you see if you looked into the mirror of Harrison? Do you know yourself well enough to know your deepest, most desperate desire?
Yeah, pizza.
Oh man,
It's a very personal question, man.
that's why I would want. I have to admit, like it is, but it's definitely something that would be kind of interesting to think about as like a thought process.
It would be.
Yeah. Oh man, such an epic quote. I'm fairly confident that that's probably someone's motivational spot.
Probably.
Oh man. Another interesting use of our time here in the movie and everything. We're gonna have Harry hanging out with Hedwig in the middle of the courtyard in the middle of winter, and I think she flies off, and then there's the season change thing or something along those lines. That would be so cool to be basically walking around with a bird on your arm.
That
like,
would be cool.
That would easily be one of my biggest highlights.
Big problem is that being a bird of prey, Harry really should have had an arm guard on.
I'm sure it was underneath the costume.
I think she's talking about in the movie, like, not the actor, but
Like, just in general.
in general.
I'm convinced wizards are much more durable than humans are.
I mean,
so it
to
probably
be
isn't
fair,
bothering
we
him.
saw Neville fall how many stories and only break her wrist?
Fair.
Bang!
It's like
you called
This
this
is
light.
Light.
the glare.
The glare.
Jeez. You know she's pretty damn good as an actress when she doesn't even need to use words. She can just emote that amazingly. The look on Ron's face as he's trying to concentrate is like, wow, I think I've heard this before.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
The music is so on point. I have to admit, like, I could definitely go for some more motifs. No, it didn't. Jeez.
Just the shush.
I feel like in the movies, Harry is Hermione's best friend. In the books, Harry is Ron's best friend, and the difference is astounding. Oh, jeez. Like, I remember how in the movies they're like, he wants to die is such a weird thing for the kids are just sort of like, Jesus, I can't imagine living that long. They're already old at the ripe old age of 11, folks. All right, this makes a little bit more sense of why they're in trouble. They're going, but I don't understand why they wouldn't just go out during the middle of the day to talk to Hagrid about this. We're combining the Norbert scene and all of the conversations they've had with Hagrid. I get why they're shortening it and everything. They had to go out of their way to, like, them being in detention is so much more freaking contrived in the movie than it is in the book. And it's pretty contrived in the book too.
Yeah.
Hey, Fang.
Not supposed to be a Neapolitan Mastiff.
It's supposed to be a
Great Dane.
Great Dane.
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Zoink, Scoob. I think the dog doesn't show up much after the second movie, if I recall correctly. Ron's like, space, dude. Come on, space, man.
Good luck, Ron. Neapolitan Mastiffs are 100+ pounds.
And like any dog that size, they think they're a lapdog.
Obviously, he is a lapdog.
Yeah, we completely cut out the library scene where Hagrid has the book on dragon raising. Hagrid's like, I need to come up with a lie. I need an explanation. Shit.
He's like, how do I explain this?
I'm doing something seriously illegal, and I have no idea how to justify any of my actions at this point in time.
To some children.
To be fair, I mean, I'd have a hard time explaining to Rose why I robbed a bank if she caught me in the middle of robbing a bank.
That's fair.
You know, I would just be
Aw,
like, you didn't see
adorable.
anything. Go back to bed.
Aw, he's a Norbert. Or Vita, technically.
Norberta.
Oh, man. Jesus, the acting on her. Harry's like, you know the type of dragon too, jeez. I'm starting to think Ron might have been a great dragon tamer as well if he's capable of knowing exactly what it is based off seeing it.
A baby. Like, because let me tell you, when we look at puppies,
It's a puppy.
it's a puppy.
You don't always
Some
know.
of them have very distinct features, but
I'd say it's also like looking. It's like looking at a cat and knowing exactly what species it is. I'm like, it's.
or an adult cat. Yeah. Good luck.
The dragon's a heck of a lot friendlier in this than it is in the books, that's for sure. At least Malfoy getting caught makes a little bit more sense. And in the frickin' movies and stuff, he's out and about and gets caught separately, basically, because he's an idiot. Whereas before, in the books, he tries to get a duel thing going on and literally doesn't frickin' show up. He should have just ratted him out to Filch and been done with it.
Right.
Also, this doesn't make any sense either. With them all being like out,
Out of...
why would they have been out of bed this late?
Yeah, none of it makes sense, to be perfectly honest. It was contrived in the book and it's contrived in the movie, but we're like,
But
we need to
also,
have
like,
the Ferenzi
in
moment
the-
where everything gets
Yeah.
explained and confirmed, and Voldemort actually gets an acknowledgement of actually being involved.
But-
Because how else would Voldemort actually be named properly to motivate Harry into doing the whole thing?
But let's be fair. If it wasn't set up the way it was in the book, like, Malfoy wouldn't have gone to McGonagall. He would have fucking woke Snape up.
Oh, no doubt. And Snape would have been all for it, and Snape probably would have let Malfoy get away with being out of bed
100%.
late. The fact that McGonagall caught his ass is probably the only reason he got in trouble and got detention to begin with.
Yep.
And then we cut to tomorrow night, I guess? Boy, they don't even slow down. And Ron being here is also completely different from the book.
It's a different night though, because they're all dressed in their uniforms again.
I mean, fair. And we already got rid of the dragon completely off scene. I gotta be honest with you, there's a lot of things they put into this movie where they just skip over it, basically, and I'm like, well, what was the point in putting it in? We did end up having a conversation, though, that Hagrid intentionally brought them in to do their detention with him and didn't say what they were doing when he said he was doing groundskeeping work with the actual kids.
Or Filch pawned him off.
That's also a distinct possibility. Filch is like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Considering how cringy you become later out of the series, you got a lot of freaking nerve giving Hagrid crap over the fact that the baby dragon got sent away. Why am I muted all of a sudden? Oh wow! Like, is it for the same for you guys? Because my audio and video is all desynced right now.
That's what was happening to us earlier.
Ours is, I feel, is pretty close.
Oh yeah, I'm way
Ours
off all
is
of a
like
sudden.
right on track now.
Yeah.
Do you want me to fix yours, Mitch?
Okay, no, I'm back on. I got it. I might be a little off, but I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, I
but
think
I
we're
was
like half
really
a second
confused
off.
there for a second.
We're close enough where I don't notice.
Yeah.
Oh man, the forest is also probably as creepy as it's gonna get, even though this is like right out of the 90s as well with all the fog effects.
Right.
But man, I wish we had a bigger budget because there's a lot of things in the Harry Potter universe, especially with the magical beasts, that would have been awesome to see in these original ones. Now this is a cool effect though. The silvery like blood
The silver
and everything.
blood, yeah.
I still can't get over the fact. Alright, still not entirely on. I see something in the background basically as well.
Harry's got keen eyes, but that's probably
There we go.
for somebody with glasses and who can't see without them. He's very sharp.
Oh yeah. He's got his eye on the gold. I think he makes some comments about it as well and everything. Oh shit, I'm ahead now. My bad.
Lines more up with a Great Dane.
Yeah. No better. This makes more sense though, because in the books they don't even talk to each other when they're doing the detention. The fact that Harry and Malfoy are sniping at each other over the course of this detention makes a hell of a lot more sense.
Yes.
Because how many times are you going to get an opportunity where you can force these two to actually interact with each other one-on-one? Because neither one of them would want anything to do with each
No.
other over the course of the series. They're either sniping at each other and walking away. Being forced to do detention together, this is probably the most interaction they've had for like in terms of time, basically, that you would ever get.
I mean, I don't know. In the books, he makes comments at him all the time.
Yeah, but they're not hanging out like this for this long. You know? It's one of those things where it's like you don't really think too hard about it, I guess, but it's like yeah, for Draco
No.
being such a memorable character, he's not really interacting with Harry that much in terms of like interesting things outside of just being a school
That's
bully.
a very small unicorn.
And a very poorly.
Like, what is Quirrell doing right here?
I was also going to say that it doesn't look very much like. It looks so fake.
It really does.
To be fair, we're supposed to see another unicorn later on in the series, I think.
Baby
in
unicorns.
Year 4 at some point, and it's
Uh,
never even touched on.
It's either book 3 or book 5. Because it's when
It's
the
oh
one
wow,
teacher's
he is
taking over for
so
Hagrid.
much bigger looking.
I think that's 5.
Yeah, but that whole subplot's basically written out, basically, because I don't think Grubbly Plank ever shows up in the movies.
Nope. Yeah, and we learned that baby unicorns are gold, not silver.
That unicorn looks so fake.
But, like, look how small it is.
Because it should be about the same size
As a horse.
as Firenze.
Yeah.
Or Firenze. It is a very small unicorn. Maybe it's a baby. Or a yearling.
Yearlings are still pretty big, though.
Man, I don't know. I'm not a horse expert.
Fair.
Maybe unicorns are small. I don't know.
Yeah, the scene has to happen for Voldemort's reveal to actually work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does add a lot of urgency to the whole thing and everything, but I really wish there was a better way they could have like revealed Voldemort being involved in this nonsense.
You do realize we're gonna have to have another podcast when the show comes out, right?
I mean, if we really like, hopefully the episodes are not going to be 2 hours long, though. I feel like we could probably run through those shows fairly, like each
Yeah.
episode as they come out. Or if they do it all at once, we do it
Oh,
episode
God,
by
I
episode.
never realized how bad
The
Ferens
CGI,
looked.
yeah, I was just
Like,
thinking
he just
that.
looks so bad.
It was bad. That unicorn has fangs.
What? Weird.
Like, I know horses can have, they call them wolf teeth, but I don't feel like they're that prominent.
Okay, this is kind of interesting, though. If all of the portraits are capable of communicating with each other, is that how Dumbledore keeps an eye on everything going on in the school? Is because the entire freaking artwork is basically one giant, one giant information network,
Probably.
That tracks.
and they, and they can move from each of their own portraits to other locations. So does that mean like all of his like chocolate frog images are actually an entire freaking network of him like spying on people?
That's how he does it.
It checks out.
As long as Dumbledore is here, you cannot leave. You can't be touched. And I think after this, we cut to the scene where it turns out he's not here.
Yep. End of your exams, yep.
It does kind of disappoint when you have to jump around so much. I'm hoping so desperately if the movies can keep the TV show can keep more of the book intact and everything.
I mean, it's a TV show. It should.
It should, but who knows? They already added things into the first movie that weren't actually relevant to the actual like ongoing plot. Because to be honest, they have scenes where they just cut to the next thing that's important, and in some cases, they actually have seasonal transitions. You know?
Yeah. Also, we're getting a reference to the flute that Hagrid makes.
Even though Harry, that was supposed to be a gift for Harry, 'cause I don't think they play any music actually
Nope.
when they show up.
The
in
harp's
this one.
already playing. Is playing by itself.
The group's a lot more willing to go to authority figures in this movie than they are in the books as well.
Well, I mean, they go to the no, because they went to McGonagall in the book too.
I know, but like, if I mean, fair, I guess. I could have sworn that they give up a lot faster in the movie though, because they try to go to McGonagall, she dismisses them, and then after that, you don't see any of them even trying to interact with the adults after that point.
Well, yeah, in the books they don't either. They go to McGonagall.
But
she
I
doesn't...
feel like, don't they?
Okay, so I'm not
Yeah.
the only one. Also, why is there a ghost in her classroom writing?
Oh, I didn't see the ghost.
There's a ghost. There was a ghost off to the right hand side.
TA.
A teacher's aide ghost. That's interesting.
I mean, there's a ghost teacher.
I feel like McGonagall's taking this a lot more seriously in the movie than she is in the book.
Only the fact that they know, not the actual.
Well, watch. Look, she's like watching them walk away and everything. She's just like you can see like
She's
the
more
doubt.
concerned.
Yeah. Whereas in the movie, she's like
in the
very.
book,
The
she
book,
was
she's
just like,
very
whatever.
dismissive. In the movie, she's like, Oh yeah, because they were originally supposed to trail Snape, and they don't in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the book, they went to McGonagall for help.
She also snaps
then
at them for hanging out.
She
outside.
also told them no, and then they were like, "Well, let's just go to Dumbledore." So they kind of condensed those two scenes together.
Well, no, because in the books they told McGonagall they needed to talk to Dumbledore.
Did they?
I think so, and they said he was gone. That's how they knew to send an owl to him.
But they were also trying to get into his office, weren't they?
No, not in the maybe. I don't know. Did they know where his office was? We just read the book and I'm already like second guessing
Same.
myself.
It's the ADHD. None of the details.
I think they didn't try to immediately go through the door. They spent more time trying to like stop Snape and whatever until they could get Dumbledore or something. But they couldn't because he was gone.
And this is the last time we see the Toad. Also, he's a lot smaller than I imagined him being.
Yeah. I imagine him being about as big as the toads in the musical sequence in book 3.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Also, basically, we get none of Neville's like overarching B plot over the course of the entire book,
Yeah.
except for the end right here, right now. Ron doesn't even talk to him during the scene, basically, because he's supposed to say, "Like you're just supposed to use it not against me." I like how Hermione puts her wand away as well. Jesus, she's got sociopath written all over her in this movie. Like the cold, calculated way she turns her wand away around, like she's like got this freaking habit. Like after she's jinxed somebody.
How? They're behind you. They step on your heel?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
probably.
happens. Like if I step on your heel, you say you stepped on my foot. You don't be like stop stepping on my heel.
I feel like I would have said stepping on my heel or my shoe.
Self-playing harp.
But I notice it.
That is a very small corridor.
To be honest, it's accurate. He takes up a lot of space in the book as well. I feel so bad for this poor dog being cooped up in this space.
I wasn't complaining about the fact that it wasn't inaccurate to the book. I was complaining about the dog. Look, they have bars in the windows.
Like he could fit through the window.
I
Did
know.
they shrink him down or something in order to get him into this room? Because that door is also small as hell.
Yeah, how did they get him in?
The doors expanded. I don't know. Magic.
How
Smart
big do
Alec.
you think that paw is?
Look, man. You're the
Or
one who's
how
always
heavy?
saying, but because magic. And saying that should be good enough.
You
So,
dare use my own spell against me?
I do!
Alright then, so long as you stop questioning this nonsense as well.
Never.
Exactly. You're going to be going back and forth sniping at each other just like the characters in the movie.
And we could hear the harp stop.
And the eye opens up as well.
He's like, ah, ha ha ha.
He's like, you're not supposed to be here.
I'm gonna be honest, this part is worst nightmare.
That
Look, dogs are nice and all, but I don't want dogs because I can't stand the drool.
It's a very tech thing because there's a lot of vet techs and VAs that is the thing that grosses us out is the drool.
It's so gross.
It's slimy. Listen, I've raised two kids.
Sticky.
I've raised 2 kids. I've dealt with my nephew a little bit while he's teething. I will handle baby drool. That's watery. That's fine.
More on slander
Dog
here.
drool is goopy and gross.
And sticky and ick. Because, like, I hate slime. Like,
Yeah.
my niece and nephew always want to, like, make slime, and I'm like, not in my house, you're not.
Rose
Also-
loves it, and I'm like, absolutely not. Oh, I can relax.
Oh, jeez, the look on her face, like, charming. Okay, so I wanted to say before you guys went on the tangent with the kids and everything, when they moved his paw, that looked really realistic. I'm
That
kind
did.
of curious if they
What
had
they
like
did.
a fake paw that size, basically, or
probably
at least a
did.
good chunk of it that they can move.
It would have been easier than trying to
Also,
CGI it.
Hermione's the one keeping a cool head instead of the other way around. Poor Rupert, come on, man. You couldn't have given him some of those Ron's better lines, please. This is so unnecessary. This is so unnecessary to be mean to Ron. It really is.
Man, we really miss out on that whole, but there's no wood.
Are you a witch or not?
Well, see, also, she doesn't get, in the book, she doesn't get stuck in the devil's snare.
No, she gets out of it before
it wraps around her. And it's not that relaxing doesn't get you out of it.
No, it's that. To be fair, this makes no sense based off what we know how Devil Snare works, because somebody else ends up dying to it in book 5.
Yep,
I
in
think.
St. Mungo's.
Yeah,
Because he had a cutting of a devil's snare.
and the dang thing basically kills him while he's there.
Devil's snare is like the vine version of the Whomping Willow. It don't give a shit. Touch it, you dead.
Or the vine from Jumanji.
Yep.
And of course, we have another change. This does make it a little bit more exciting, though, so I'm kind of okay with this being a little bit more intense. And I like how Ron also is the one who's like, "Oh, I remember Hermione using this spell. I'm gonna go try and get past the door." You know what? Say what
He's
you
so
want about him.
aggressive with his spells.
The fact that he's like tries to open the door before actually just assuming that it's freaking locked, unlike everybody who ever plays D&D, anybody actually try to turn the handle before trying to break it down?
Right. Also, why just immediately assume that it's the spell won't work just because Ron tried it? Like, we know his track record with spells.
Mean, but fair.
It's not mean if it's true. Okay, that's not true, but
It could be both. Yeah.
also the fact that there's only the one broom.
I mean, to be fair, you want to make it hard as possible. Why would you give them more brooms?
True, true.
And oh man, Hermione's hair looks very book accurate in these moments.
Yeah.
I feel like if this was happening to me, I'd be moving my hands a hell of a lot more than that. God, this would be painful though, because these things are metal.
Is it because I took my headphone out and put it back in?
No.
Does it sense when it's in the
It is
ear?
touch. No, it's touch sensitive, so you
Oh,
might have touched the outside of it.
Oh man, this would drive me up a wall. This would be so painful. Oh man, metal just bouncing off of your skin and trying to fly at the same time. Jeez, no way. They made the broom a little too fast though. If Harry's capable of outstripping them, because he gets through that door before they do.
Next time I will make sure to bring my headphones.
Bullets, jeez. Could you imagine though, be like, magical spell, thousands of hard metal keys going straight at your face like a machine gun?
Ugh, that'd be terrifying.
I feel like magic would be so much worse if all of it was just multiplied in speed. Oh man, this must have been one heck of a match. Do you think, in order for them to be this many, extra pieces on the off to the side and everything, if, McGonagall played a couple of matches before,
to make sure it worked?
Yeah.
Probably.
And then, let's see
Listen,
here.
she got giddy in the last book to bring all of the stone golems to life. You cannot tell me she...
Last movie. I
The
don't
art.
think it happened in the
Oh, it
books.
didn't happen in the book?
I don't think so.
Mm.
We'll touch
Or at
that
least she
base.
wasn't as excited.
Okay, well, if it did
But either
happen in the
way.
books, you can't tell me she wasn't excited about this.
I have to admit, the gang look a heck of a lot more roughed up by this point already. Harry's freaking sweater's all torn up. Hermione's hair is all, freaking messed with.
And Harry's clothes fit better. I wonder if Hermione shrunk them for him.
That makes a little bit of sense. But it is weird that they're not in their school uniforms during this.
But also, they've been at Hogwarts for a year. He's eaten good food for a year.
That's not going to make him Dudley sized.
She's got a point.
That's true.
Also, why is her sweater Christmas themed?
Maybe it's her favorite sweater, okay?
It's still weird.
Your daughter wears Christmas stuff in the middle of... Your son does it too, because they just like it.
Yeah, that's fair, but that's 8, not 11. Also, she's there. Why are they wearing a bloody sweater in the middle of freaking end of year? What is this going to be like?
Well, I think they were anticipating they were
July?
going to the dungeon, so they were like, I don't know how cold it's going to be.
Also,
No,
it's
they wouldn't have
April.
been anticipating it because they didn't know what was below, how far below.
Yeah, they had no idea what all this crap was set up and how it operated and worked. They
I don't-
just knew some of the
Also,
teachers
in-
put
I
some
don't,
spells
I
in
don't know
shop.
why they're wearing sweaters.
So, here's my question. How do the pieces go around other pieces?
Well, originally they were supposed to grab the piece and toss them off to the side before taking the original spot.
Yeah, but think about how a knight moves.
Yeah, but
You
once
know-
they stand by the rules for movement, and then they act like statues.
No, I think
during
she's
the
trying to
scene.
ask how they would get between the pieces.
Yeah, because a
They'd
knight
probably
would...
move out of the way. And not to mention, we have the night bus, which goes and squeezes between things as well. So
I know. I'm just saying for this, the way that they move the pieces.
it's magic.
And they have pedestals. There's no way to get around.
It's magic.
Shut up. No. No.
Oh no! You don't. you don't get to throw me under the bus when I make that comment, and then turn around and be upset when I do the exact same thing back. That's not how this works.
To be fair, though, when we said that how to get Fluffy in the room, they probably used magic, as in they literally used magic. But at least you know that they used the spell to either shrink him or enlarge the doors. This, we still need to know what magic they used to do it.
The same magic they use on the bus, and the same magic they used on Fluffy. What do you think? They got a different wand just for the just for this?
Semantics. Semantics. Said it wrong.
No, you cannot.
Still think one of them should have taken the place of the king if they really wanted to be smart about this.
They're stupid.
Don't. Well, to be honest, like, if they beat the chess game and everything, couldn't everybody just walk across? Like, what is the king after being defeated pick up his crown and starts going after them? Like, to be honest, you just needed to break enough of the pieces to get past, not even necessarily win.
Yeah.
Also, why does he get to keep the horse while they don't actually get to keep any of the stuff from their piece?
I don't know. Can you imagine that how uncomfortable that would have been? Because like you have to like be actively holding yourself up, or you're gonna slide off the back.
It's like being on a merry-go-round horse, but you know,
Worse.
but worse.
God, this would be so freaking terrifying, though. Be like, okay, yeah, I know I'm about to take one hell of a hit and everything, and it's just coming at me slowly as humanly possible.
Like this is more terrifying in the movies than in the book.
Oh yeah, especially since you just get bonked and
Well, and
tossed
with the
out.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Surprisingly enough, the CGI for the freaking chess pieces is amazing in this.
he didn't even fall that far.
I know, but
Like-
just the fear in his eyes, though. Like, Rupert's definitely capable.
Of acting
Yes.
well.
Oh, dude, it's an amazing display. Harry's like the whole "don't move" thing and everything, and then the announcement of checkmate and everything. This is so dramatic and so well acted and so well paced that it almost feels like this is basically the climax.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I know I'm not like an expert in chess or anything, but I feel like it's very hard to go into check, take out one piece, but make yourself be put in a position to be immediately put into checkmate.
To be fair, most people who write chess scenes aren't actually chess players.
Fair enough.
More often than not, that's kind of why the chess scene from the second Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. is so amazing, is because they actually used a legit chess game that happened, and then they followed through based off of what could have happened if they'd continued on past the point where the guy realized he was beaten and quit.
Gotcha.
It's a really, really good scene and everything. I would love to get to sit down and actually rewatch the Robert Downey Jr. movies. But anyway, magic and cleverness. This whole scene's supposed to take place later because we get rid of the snake potion thing.
Yep.
Also, where do you think some of these other halls go to? Because we see
Chamber
another one going
secrets.
off to the right. No, that's in the bathroom.
Maybe it takes you back up to the troll.
There's a split. You have multiple choices on which things you need to get past in order to get to the
That's how
mirror.
they got all of the teachers involved.
Well,
It's a choose your own adventure novel at that point.
pretty
you guys
much.
just happened to pick the right pathways.
Oh,
Stuttering physical.
This actor does an amazing job too.
Yeah,
to be honest.
he definitely, like, the fact that he can bounce between them in a single scene and everything, and it still makes sense.
That was such a Scar moment from Lion King. I killed Mufasa.
He, like, I love how, like, when he's dismissing somebody, that stutter kind of comes back out, like he's trying to mock people. It's so weird that out of all of the people, I feel like Quirrell is a surprisingly effective minion for Voldemort, and the fact that he's so dismissive of him later on is kind of sad in a sense. Quirrell is so much more intimidating than so many of the other minions that Voldemort takes on. If I were to like Bellatrix, Quirrell, and Barty Crouch Jr. are easily my three favorite like underlings of Voldemort, and easily some of the most intimidating based off of what they are capable of doing. Because Quirrell's throwing magic around and stuff that none of the other Death Eaters are capable of doing. Between like the fire with just the snap of his fingers and the ropes in the actual book and everything, I really do believe Voldemort tossed aside gold when he tossed away Quirrell.
And in this one, though, he was saying, "What does this mirror do?" Because he didn't in the book, though, he knew what it did.
I think he understood it, but he didn't know how to get past it.
Well, he knew that it showed him his desire. He just didn't know how to use it. But in here, he's like, "What does this mirror do?"
Mirror Harry is so much different than
So cocky.
Yeah, like kind of wish you get more like confident Harry in the movies, to be honest.
Also, that was so obvious that he looked at his pocket.
Yeah, Quirrell should be paying really close attention. He should have noticed that towel. Jeez. He goes from being like the meanest person in the room to being, oh shit, here comes the boss. Oh man. Harry's like, can I just run now? Like, is that cool?
Can I just go now? Okay, bye, thanks.
And we don't get the snake face.
Not as much, but it's still, his nose isn't as nosy as it could be.
I mean,
But his
fair.
eyes definitely are not slitted.
Or red. More of an
Nope,
amber.
they're red right there.
No, that's
no,
not
they're
red.
they're amber.
Yeah.
See, this creeped me out a bit as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh god. I feel like Voldemort lost his intimidation factor over the course of the series. To be fair, it doesn't help that
One less
Dumbledore
magic.
clowns on his ass in some of the later ones.
Do you think if Harry had taken him up, do you think Voldemort would have actually let him
No.
be?
No, absolutely
He
not.
would have killed him.
He would have
In
killed
a
him.
heartbeat.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So long as that prophecy was in play, Voldemort was going to end that kid's life if he got the opportunity to.
Look, man,
Oh,
Harry
God,
never
this
needed
is-
to die. He could have let Harry live the whole time.
God. This is such a nice little cinematic moment. I don't think they touch on Harry's parents appearing at all
In the mirror.
in the mirror, but having them show up basically during this whole scene and everything.
Also, dude, him taking out the freaking stone.
Nice little reminder of what's happened to others and stuff. Seeing your parents while talking to your parents' murderer is probably going to be one of the hell reasons, the hard in your heart for any
You're like,
type of
nope.
no. You've already killed my parents. I don't trust a damn thing coming out of your mouth. And they vanish. Dude, just fucking flying leap. I like how like Harry's first instinct, gotta keep the stone away from him.
Also, delayed reaction, because he was touching Harry this whole time.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Harry touched him.
Harry looks at hands. Looks at him. Looks at the stone. Gets right up in his face.
Harry just totally had murder in his heart right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's looking like, did I do that?
This should count as a death. Like, I know it doesn't play out like in the actual book and everything, but that's dead. That's
Yeah.
that is totally dead right there. Harry should totally be seeing Thestrals from now on.
Yep. 100%.
I wonder if he was more traumatized by the fact that he just crumbled to dust.
It's not a death. He turned into stone. And then crumbled.
Harry picks up the stone and walks out casually after murdering somebody. This is so different.
I remember
And we
being
get the
like,
fake out already. Like,
it's like, Harry, look out, look out, look out, Harry, he's still there.
oh
Look out.
shit, I was less than the meanest ghost. Yeah, I think this is the only time you'd ever actually see this because in the books this is not even touched on. What happened to Voldemort like
Well,
afterward?
they
We don't
had
get a visual image because Harry loses consciousness before Quirrell dies in the book.
And then Voldemort was supposed to have left Quirrell for dead.
Yeah. So that means Dumbledore should have showed up right around here,
Yep.
and Quirrell should still have been alive at this point. Oh, look at the Goodwill pictures.
Aw. Somebody drew an owl and a broom on it.
It looks like somebody did a fire thing as well, which is weird. And of course, there's the ever flavored beans. He's like, holy shit! Look at all this swag, man.
Sweet.
Right on cue. It was almost like he knew the guy was gonna wake up right here, right now. He's just sort of like, I'm gonna time this perfectly.
Look, man, movie magic.
It's secret.
So naturally, because obviously Hermione and Ron aren't going to keep their mouths shut about this, even though technically they don't see they don't see Voldemort this time around. So it's one of those things where it's like we assume that there was a fight between Harry and Voldemort, and if Snape's involved or not, apparently. I feel like Dumbledore would have probably have to at least talk to some people and let some details out, or else everybody's going to think that Snape was the one trying to steal the stone for Voldemort. He's like, oh, hold the phone. We kind of need him to be a double agent. Let's not
jump the gun.
Let's not jump the gun. Is that a picture of Madame Pomfrey in the background?
I think it's just a nurse.
Oh, that'd be funny if they got the actress to play Madame Pomfrey to actually be playing some of the scenes in the background for some of the artwork. Oh, man.
That's pretty.
He's not clapping himself on the back nearly as much in this scene, and we do jump to why did Voldemort want to kill me and everything. We cut over a couple of important details that kind of really heavily hint at things in the future. There it is. It's a little out of order. There's a lot of like little things for these scenes. There's, like, dude, the actor for Dumbledore is amazing. Oh, the nice music touch, the explanation and everything. He does a really good job of explaining how this whole thing works. He's such a grandpa figure.
Mm-hmm.
The long hair, look at the beard. Jeez, this man, this oh man, that is the type of facial hair you work on for a lifetime.
Hashtag goals.
There's no way. Oh god, my hair would be getting caught in things at work if I were to try this.
Yeah.
I have to admit, like, I know there's no way he actually grew that in real life, but the fact that it looks so realistic is very impressive.
I mean, have you seen what people do with yarn?
Fair. And we don't get the Hagrid scene either. Oh wow, I'd completely forgotten that we don't have like Hagrid like crying because he accidentally almost got Harry killed. She's got something in her hair. Does she got like a headband or something going on?
I think so.
And there are the hats.
Missed it.
Makes me wonder how they actually shot some of these scenes. Like, do you think that like they shot like all of the Great Hall scenes all in like
Probably.
all at once and then did the other ones?
Well, because the Great Hall they were using, was it a castle or something out there? So they probably had to shoot all of the Great Hall scenes at once.
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. Like some of these scenes like had to get like which ones were put together and everything, which scenes were shot, like in what order. I feel like doing the Great Hall scenes would have probably would have been the best idea. So we got like the end of the year shit and the beginning of the year shit all put into one area. Oh man, it really does make me wonder though which ones were like put in which order. You know, that's another thing. They don't touch too much on them losing house points at all, basically, and how that impacted their life at school. Everybody just sort of looks bummed that they're losing. Snape does not look like a person who's putting his finger on the scale, though.
Well done, Slytherin. Well done, Slytherin. However,
Snape's
get
like, wait,
fucked.
what? Snape's like, excuse me? Excuse me? You are not robbing me right now, are you?
She's like, what?
Ron's like so proud of her at that moment, though. You can see his facial expressions. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's just like he went from like her biggest hater at the beginning
her
of the year
biggest
to like
fan.
her biggest supporter. And Hagrid looks so proud as well. Like he's just sort of like, yep. You know, the weird thing is they don't really.
Ron's like, what, me?
I can... Harry's mouthing you, yeah, like, dude, yeah, we're talking about you, man. Hermione's like, naturally. Now, Draco's just like, okay, that's not a glare. That's more of like,
That's like a...
all right, I'm starting to understand why some of the shippers were like Harry Draco for life.
Yeah.
That was not a I'm angry at you look. That was more of a like, God.
Wow, I wish I could be your friend kind of look.
That was like, do you want to make out somewhere, like in a corner there, Mel, Harry?
Sir, they're 11. They should not be thinking about making out.
That's the expression I was getting, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know.
and I'm
Ron looked at
concerned.
Hermione like, that's my wife.
Neville getting the most cheers out of everybody's kind of weird.
Neville's like,
what?
Different. Must be a different Neville, right? Like, what? He's still trying to piece it together.
Look at Neville looks like he's gonna, or Draco looks like he's gonna cry.
He looks
I
so
would
sad.
cry.
That's
Draco
weird though that he went
looks
from
like
making
he's gonna
eyes
cry.
at Harry
I
to
know.
being sad they lost.
Look, man, if you had thought your house was winning,
No,
to
he
losing,
looked like tears of joy. Like, oh, I'm so proud of Neville.
he
it
was
was weird.
maybe, I don't know.
Hagrid, stop playing favorites.
Hagrid's allowed to play favorites. He's not a teacher.
Fair.
So why is he sitting at the teacher's table? Where does Filch sit?
Staff.
Where does Filch sit?
Oh wow,
Like-
you can see Hagrid
Like
in the
Filch is
background on
gonna
the right
come
hand
to
side.
dinner.
Oh god. Some of the background characters getting to actually like move around and do things in the scene is probably always appreciated. Lee Jordan jumping up and okay, Lee, tone it down. You're acting a little too hard. Some of the background the background actors are a little bit more noticeable. Also, they have staff for the train now. There was somebody
Bellhops.
actually picking things up and actually putting them in there. Like Harry was giving Hedwig to somebody. I feel like this is actually a
Bellhops
really
is not
nice
the right
ending,
word.
though.
No.
This is such a nice way to end this, though. Like, rather than having the Dursleys or something along those lines,
Porters, yeah.
having Harry and like Hagrid have a nice little moment, like exchanging the book and everything. You know,
Yeah.
leaving without saying goodbye, did you? Like Hagrid acts a lot more like a father figure in the movies than he does in the actual books.
It goes good with the skirt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice big hug. I gotta keep. Hey, I got an image to keep up, kid. Get out of here. Go. Do some Dudley. Chin Grease. You know he's threatening. Because we don't mention them getting it removed when Harry goes to school. No. No, do we?
Your cousin doesn't, but your aunt sure should.
But she's not going to mention it because I would acknowledge the magic.
Harry, I like how I don't know how that impacts it, but it does feel like it impacts his personality. Harry came up with that idea on his own in the book. In the movie, the fact that Hagrid's encouraging it is kind of like you need to protect yourself, son. Like he's like the dad teaching his son to stand up to a bully in a sense, you know. This is such a nice. I don't know why, but I just love this ending with it ending with Hagrid walking away at the end rather than, you know, it ending at King's Cross.
So I think King's Cross just makes it sad. You're like, fuck, we're going back to the Dursleys.
Having it end with like the Hogwarts Express leaving is,
Mm-hmm.
and the wonderful scene of the castle in the background
Yeah.
and everything. God, it's such a nice moment.
It really is.
Anyway, Kimmy needs to kind of get going. She's got stuff to do and everything. And Christopher Columbus, thank you very much for your first 2 movies and stuff.
Christopher Columbus?
Sorry, I don't remember.
Chris...
I saw Columbus. Isn't it?
No, it's Chris something.
I could have
Wait,
sworn I
for-
saw Columbus.
Oh, it is Chris Columbus.
Yeah.
For
Chris, not Christopher, for the director.
I was so
Okay, so
there.
all right, so I was off point, but not too off point.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes a better director than he does an explorer. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna wrap things up here. Everybody, plug your shit, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff.
And until next time, keep your wands at the ready.